Welcome in to Rock Hard Ball, part of the Dogs Media Network at College Football Dogs. Let's get rock hard. All righty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to yet another edition of Rock Hard Ball. Thank you all for joining us. I'm Karter, that's Weezy. We got Clyde in here as well. Got another great episode on tap for you all. Before we get into it, another reminder, go check out the socials. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, pretty much everything that you can think of. Just look us up at Rock Hard Ball or at Rock Hard Ball Pod. Again, I'll shamelessly plug specifically the Facebook again. Got to get to 100 followers there so we can stream directly to our page. So, you know, if you're out there listening, you haven't followed / liked the Facebook page yet, please do that. It'd be a great help. But until then, shout out to our friends at the Golden Boot for allowing us to stream over on their page so we can still get, you know, some of that access to our Facebook following. But let's get into what we got on deck for the show today. Here's our rundown. We got the Pac-12. They live again. Don't know how alive they are really. It's going to be, you know, interesting to see how this all, you know, ends up going down with the Pac-12 trying to get back into, you know, being a real conference again. But we'll get into that here in a second. We got the College Football Week 3 preview. We'll hit on all the, you know, big matchups of the weekend and get you ready for that. Same with the NFL. We'll go through the slate, talk about what we think is going to happen. And we got rock hard bets and rock hard takes towards the end there. We'll give you, Weezy and I'll give you our top 3 bets from the NFL and college football for the upcoming weeks. And then we got of course, our records and stuff like that. So we're tracking that all season long. And then finally, Kelly's Kinky Rankings to finish it off. So should be a good show. That being said, though, let's hop over to the Pac-12 first. Let's talk about that because they pulled a move that nobody really was expecting. When everybody left for, you know, the Big Ten and the ACC, did anybody else go anywhere else other than that? Was it just Big 10, Big 12? Some of them went to Big 12. Everybody thought the Pac-12 was just going to die because the hoops that they would have to jump through to get, you know, more teams in that conference just seemed, you know, probably like too much. It was probably just going to be, you know, one of those situations where Oregon State and Washington State were just going to have to join another conference, whether that been the Mountain West or something else. For this season, they had to deal with the Mountain West so that they could play, you know, the teams within that conference and basically kind of be fake conference members for the season until they kind of figured out what they were going to do long term. But now, you know, surprising move there Wednesday night into, you know, this morning that really flipped it on its head. Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State are all going to be leaving the Mountain West Conference to join Oregon State and Washington State in the Pac-12. And that'll go into effect the 2026-2027 year. So for those who don't know, when it kind of all, you know, broke into motion, and it never really got talked about, I don't think, because people didn't think that there was a chance that this was actually going to happen in terms of the Pac-12 trying to make a comeback and adding teams. There's a couple kind of stipulations. So number one, the Pac-12 had 2 years basically to get back to 8 teams. Otherwise, the conference would be officially dissolved for good because you had to have at least 8 teams to be recognized as a conference by the NCAA. So the Pac-12 had basically a 2-year grace period to get those teams back. Otherwise, you know, Washington State, Oregon State, we're either going to have to find a new conference or maybe even go independent. But now it looks like they're going to make that push to get back to 8. The reason that nobody thought it was going to happen was because the way that some of the Mountain West Conference bylaws were written is that if teams give a 2-year notice, they still have to pay an $18 million exit fee to the conference. And if it would have been less than that, it would have been even more. And then the Pac-12 itself will have to pay over $40 million to the Mountain West for quote unquote poaching teams from them. That was part of their agreement for getting to play in the conference this year. So that's kind of everything laid out on the table. There's not really, I mean, a whole lot of other, you know, super important details. But the Pac-12 lives. So Weez, I mean,
it kind of lives.
Yeah, give me your thoughts on it.
I mean, it lives. It's obviously going to have to pay a lot of money. Like, I don't know if I'd call it living. It's like, yeah, okay, they're going to be a group of 5 conference. Like the Pac-12 is officially no longer a power conference. It's not going to be. It's just the Mountain West with the Pac-12, you know, logo on it and the name. So I don't think, I mean, they weren't obviously just going to let it dissolve, but like, it's not like a huge news. Obviously, it's not like they got some independence or stole from other, you know, ACC teams. So I don't think much of it.
Yeah. So the one thing I will say is I think you're right. Like it's never going to be a power conference again. It's too late. That won't happen. The one thing though that could, I think, still happen is we'll kind of get like almost a separation of maybe even 3 tiers in college football. We could see, you know, the tier 1 of the Power 4 conferences, and then we could see maybe just the Pac-12 kind of almost by itself. 'Cause, you know, these are some of the top teams that are coming over from the Mountain West, and the big, I think, domino that's still yet to fall. That's not exactly likely from, I mean, what I've seen from reporting, but is still, you know, a possibility is Cal and Stanford coming back, which obviously those two aren't necessarily premier football programs, but Stanford's had some really good years. Cal's had some years.
There's a lot of history there.
Yeah, and they're very good in other sports as well that people kind of forget about a little bit with conference realignment. So if those two come back, I think it definitely helps a lot. Outside of that, though, I mean, they're going to have to look elsewhere. I've heard maybe like a UTSA, which again, like not a huge draw, but a team that's been very good in football and competitive. I mean, I even heard like Memphis and Tulane thrown around, which don't really make sense geographically, but that seems to have been thrown out the window anyways. You got UNLV still from the Mountain West that maybe has been floating around rumors. Utah State, I don't know.
You said we're heading towards like 2 tiers. I think we're heading towards 3.
Yeah, that's not
okay.
Three.
So
like I think
saying like
kind of like the 4, then the
so Pac-12. I don't think it's 4. I think
and then
it'll be 2, and then the rest. So I think ultimately we're heading towards, and this is no surprise, the Big Ten and the SEC will be in that tier 1 by themselves. That's where all the best teams will be, all the best talent. Then you'll have that middle tier, which will be kind of like the best of the group of 5 with the Pac-12, the ACC, and then the rest of them will fill into that tier 3, which are the MAC, the A10 schools like that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way of putting it. And again, a lot of it will depend on what the Pac-12 is actually able to pull off here, because they do get Cal, they get Stanford to come back, and then they add a couple other high level group of 5 teams. Then I think they would probably get closer into because the ACC too is still in trouble, especially if they lose Cal and Stanford right after getting them.
Yeah,
and then we still have the constant rumblings of Florida State and Clemson are the 2 you hear the most of possibly going to the SEC, maybe Miami too. So if they lose some of those schools to between the Pac-12 and the SEC, then then the ACC falls right back into that kind of same tier, I think, as the Pac-12 would be.
Which I think
Big 12 is in a weird spot.
It's going to happen, though, I think.
Yeah, I think it will too. I think that's the way we've been heading ever since those
schools
first
like
teams
Clemson,
left.
Florida State, Miami are going to make so much more money playing in the SEC, or I would imagine that obviously half of the teams that we mentioned would probably have to go to the Big Ten.
Yeah, no, I mean
Clemson screams Big Ten to me.
Texas, and Oklahoma are completely to blame for everything that's happened, right?
Everything.
Yeah, I mean if those two never leave for the SEC, this cascading domino effect of teams leaving conferences and joining new ones, I don't think ever happens. So Texas and Oklahoma, not liked by a lot of people.
Which, by the way, really doesn't make much sense outside of the fact that you want the SEC brand in your team, but it's none of those teams in the last 25 years would have been you know what I mean? Texas, okay, I'll give them these last 2 years, this year and last year. But Texas does not belong in the SEC up until then. It's just all they wanted, they left and ruined college football so they could be an SEC brand.
Yeah,
just bullshit.
Well, I will say too, with Texas and Oklahoma, that was definitely also the SEC one of their brands.
Yes,
those 2 teams alone carry a brand large enough that is a major draw to a conference.
Yeah, it's just brutal. It's brutal that 2 teams who are not top of the food chain.
I mean, really, you want to think way back. I mean, we had Mizzou leaving for the SEC, we had Nebraska leaving for the Big Ten. Obviously, there was quite a dead period there for a little bit, but I mean, that was really the first notable conference alignment that we had.
Yeah, you're right on that.
So I don't know where it's all going to end. Like you said, it all seems to be heading towards the SEC and the Big Ten being by themselves, and then everybody else kind of filters in behind into some different tiers. What I was kind of starting to say though, the one that still kind of confuses me is the Big 12, because they still have enough, I think, programs with enough history and teams that are going to be competitive enough. I think if they can just get 1 or 2 of their programs to be consistent teams that are going to be actual title contenders, the Big 12 might be able to keep up a little bit with the SEC and the Big 10. Their only problem right now, because I still think they have enough brands, they still have enough teams that are good. They just don't have that 1 or 2 teams that are elite level programs that are consistently competing for national titles.
But then the problem is though, is you bring up the very next possible domino, a team in the Big 12 goes on a 3-year run where they're title contenders the entire time. What makes them not say, well, why are we in the Big 12? Why are we not in the Big 10? We're national title contenders. We got a brand. So why would they not just immediately try to jump ship to one of the top 2 dogs?
Yeah, it's a good point.
It's just a common issue where everybody's going to want to be in those top 2 conferences.
Yeah, and that's exactly why it's a lot of it does come back to Texas and Oklahoma at the end of the day, because the Big 12 is fine. I mean, the Big 12 at that point in time, the Big 12, they were probably, people still said they were a small step below the Big 10 and the SEC, but they weren't that far behind, especially now from where Texas has gotten out at this point in time. Obviously, Oklahoma is still a high level team. If those 2 stay, I mean, I think the Big 12 is right in the same talks, pretty close as the SEC and the Big 10. You got a national title contender. You got, the big brand of Oklahoma, the history of national titles. They're not going to be a national title contender this year, but they're going to be in talks for the playoff. Yeah. So
there's literally, I'm thinking about, there's literally only one upside to all this. And that's I think you would agree, let's say 6 years ago, it wasn't really contest to who was the best conference, especially in terms of football. Obviously, we're talking football. It was obviously SEC. They dominated. So then you beef up the Big Ten. SEC had some schools, but it's more even. Like if you looked me in the eye right now and told me the Big Ten's better than the SEC, I might disagree with you, but it's not like totally far fetched. Where I feel like if you told me that 6 years ago, I would have thought you were crazy. Like, outside of Ohio State, it's not even close.
Yeah, no, it's big in terms of obviously Michigan is winning the title last year, helps a lot. Penn State's always going to be good, and then the fact that the Big Ten added 4 like very real like good programs. I mean, UCLA, I guess maybe not as much, but definitely 3.
Washington's always a spotty.
They're always spotty. I mean, we forget like they were right there, last year, but it wasn't. It was within the last 10 years too that Washington made a run of the playoff, earlier too. So it's like it's not that they're still a high level program. I'd say USC and Oregon definitely on different levels, but I mean the SEC definitely added the 2 best programs in terms of taking Texas and Oklahoma, but the Big Ten got 3 very real ones. UCLA's had some okay years, here and there, but I mean they're not special.
They're not a football.
They had a lot. They had a lot of basketball.
Yes, huge.
And that's something that again we always forget when we talk conference realignment is that there are other sports that this affects. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens going forward with the conference realignment. So Pac-12 though, looking to make the comeback. Anthony Handy commented. Do you know him? Said Weezy. But all right, Anthony, thanks for joining the show. Said all the marquee teams left the conference unless a big splash is made by one of the remaining teams. The Pac-12 is soon to move to the FCS. I don't think it'll ever go that far. I will actually though maybe take this to one more quick little point that's interesting. I think the FCS now is in trouble a little bit because the rumblings I've been seeing around Twitter and stuff like that is that with the Pac-12 now starting to poach some Mountain West teams, especially if a couple more leave for the Pac-12, there's a very good chance that the Mountain West then turns around and takes some of the top programs from FCS because we have Sacramento State, who's a top program in FCS, which makes perfect sense for the Mountain West. Montana and Montana State are both FCS powers every year. Little bit moving farther into the central region of America, but you have the Dakotas too.
Which would be big.
UND and USD aren't quite at the level of NDSU and SDSU, but even if you got all 4 of those, then you add like a whole region to that conference. Yeah. So FCS, I think, would really struggle if Mountain West starts taking some of those.
Yeah, it's just a massive food chain situation where it's just going to keep tumbling down because obviously the Mountain West is not going to want to just dissolve its conference.
Yeah,
and it's going to have to obviously replace teams
because they're at 8 right now. So if one other team leaves the Pac-12, then they have to fill.
Then they're the ones who are on the chopping block.
Yeah,
so it's just going to keep going down, which sucks. But
yeah, wish we go back to the good old days, but that's not always the way it works. So we just got to live with what we got. Okay, let's move forward here. Next thing we'll go into, we'll be taking a look at some of our week 3 college football headlines, I guess, or for the preview. So here's what we're going to get into as we move forward with our preview. Arizona and K-State, probably the biggest game on the docket for this weekend. So they're going to clash in a Big 12 matchup. Technically not a conference game. So it's kind of interesting because they had this game scheduled before Arizona joined the Big 12. So this is technically a non-conference game. So whoever loses this game kind of gets a free gimme in terms of like not a conference loss. So that's kind of interesting.
It's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, it is kind of bullshit, but that is how it's going to work. So former Pac-12 rivals, we just talked a lot about the Pac-12. We're going to into that a little bit more. Washington State and Washington, Oregon State and Oregon. Different feel this year. Usually they play in the last week of the season, but with the new conferences, they're going to play here in the last week of non-con play. Alabama's going to go into Camp Randall, a game that people have been excited for. Obviously, Alabama's going to be favored by quite a bit in that game, but could be interesting. We'll talk about it. A couple group of 5 teams are going to have some big games this weekend. We'll talk about those and the chance to improve their resumes, and then we'll just get into all the other notable matchups that we'll have going on across the country here, getting ready for week 3. So let's get forward here. I guess we actually got a quick comment here regarding the Pac-12. Vandy Chris said, with the 4 teams added, I'd say you go all in and go after Utah, BYU, UNLV, and Hawaii. That gets you to 10 teams. Memphis makes 0 sense. Add Wyoming. I agree. Memphis doesn't make sense, although, I mean, we seem to really do seem to have just thrown geography out the window. So it just seems like no one cares about that.
Nobody cares anymore.
Yeah,
that's irrelevant.
I don't think Utah leaves the Big 12.
I don't either, but that's where it comes to the point where another side effect of all this is like, okay, well now do the Pac-12 and Big 12 start, going throat to throat to become that, tier 3 team.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when it first happened, when the Big 12 first started kind of poaching some teams, didn't it feel like there was some talks that like the Pac-12 and Big 12 might just like do a straight up merger.
which also should happen. Like if we're looking at like, I'd rather them merge than them just eat at each other for a few
Yeah,
years,
exactly.
and then one of them fizzles out. Just become a huge conference.
Yeah, because we're already heading towards 2 superpowers. Why not just try and make a third superpower that can maybe try and compete with the other 2?
Okay, then where does the ACC fit in?
I think the I don't know. then
There's
the
just so many situations
ACC probably just then dissolves into those other 3, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's so hard to say. I really don't know what the hell's going to happen. Like, how big do you think conferences are going to get? Like, what do you think? What do you think it caps at? Like when we finally be like, okay, this is too big of a conference.
Here's my biggest fear, solely because I'm sure people across the country, or not across, literally across the ocean in like Europe, would say it's a great system. My biggest fear is we head towards like a relegation. System,
I think the concept of it is fun.
And the SEC, or whoever's at the bottom of those, like Indiana, they would end up fizzling out, and then it would just become such a dominated, top.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to agree and say too, is it's a fun concept in hindsight, but it's just, the top teams, every recruit's going to want to go to top teams because they're going to want to play in the tier 1 league. Then at the same time too, it's also like college football is random. So even if it doesn't, completely like go to like, if recruits are still going to other programs and like say somebody in like tier 2 that has to play in tier 2 for like the upcoming season. Say they brought on a really good class like 2 or 3 years ago, and like those guys are like ready to play now, and they're supposed to be like one of the better, maybe even one of the best teams in the country, but they play in tier 2 and they can't move up. So then they're just they're stuck. Like they can't compete for a national title because they're not in tier 1. Because I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Like I don't think you can technically compete for the national title if you're in tier 2. The best you can do is win tier 2 and then move up for next year.
Yeah, which is crazy because also. And like NIL has also been like, thought upon about bringing, disparity across all conferences. Any 5-star can go to the school because, they'll be able to get paid to go there. But like it gets thrown out the window when we have 2 super conferences that like every single 5-star kid is going to want to play for the best team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's going to be chaos. Jason checking in. Also, shout out to producer Clyde here, letting us know. We have President Football in the background. Couldn't see it. How bad it looked. Fingers again.
Yeah, I did the finger thing. I think he's actually fucked. He might be done for the year.
All right. Well, that's not good.
Like so they were saying like last time, like 1 or 2 more of those, and he's in real jeopardy for his career. Yeah. It was bad.
He got hit right.
It was whiplash.
Yeah.
That sucks so much,
and
man.
His hand started doing hand things.
Yeah, he did.
Like, I mean, I've been fully on the record being like not the biggest Tua fan. Like, I don't think he's a great quarterback, but that shouldn't ever happen anyway. That just blows for him. Like, prayers up. Like, hopefully he's okay. But I mean, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we're live right now. I'll try and keep an eye on Twitter and stuff like that. See if we can get any info, or if anybody in the comments, wants to let us know if we get an update on it. I'm sure there won't be too much tonight. I'm sure it'll get ruled out for tonight's game. And we'll get more information later, but that's just not.
It's already a bloodbath. So yeah, he obviously will not come back.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
Yeah, not good. All right, let's move forward. I guess. Let's see. Did we already did this, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's get into some of the actual matchups then. So first up on the docket, like we mentioned, Arizona and Kansas State, probably the biggest matchup this week in college football. It's one of the only ones between 2 ranked teams. I think there's only one other one between 2 ranked teams. I think it's Boston College, Missouri.
Yep.
And like Boston College. I mean, we'll get into that one.
I hate how this game's on a Friday.
Yeah, no, it does. It's kind of fun though. Like, we have something fun to watch, I guess, on Friday. At least.
I know, but like the only primetime real night game is Georgia, Kentucky.
Yeah,
like
that'll be a bloodbath.
It's gonna be a bloodbath. So, and I think this game's gonna be really close, which is why. It's fine. Obviously, I like football on Friday, especially if it's good football. But especially in this week 3, it's like a very weak week.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I was like, I don't know about that too.
But it's very weak, so obviously, I'd like this game to be on a Saturday at a primetime spot.
Well, especially because this game should be fun as hell. I mean, you got 2 of the fastest, rising quarterbacks, if you want to say, in college football, Avery Johnson and Noah Fifita. So. And then, of course, you have McMillan. I don't know how the hell to say his first name, but
yeah, he was not great last week. Hopefully, a good bounce back. I mean, the over/under is 60. The Scream's really fun Friday night game.
Yeah, who do you got winning this one? Kansas State or Arizona? Kansas State is favored by 7.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with it being in Kansas State. I actually lean Arizona here.
I think Kansas State wins, but I think it's closer than a touchdown. Maybe Kansas State maybe by a field goal.
I think Arizona wins, but in order to do that, though, your playmakers have to play great. Obviously, like I said, T-Mac was unbelievable week 1. Wasn't, spectacular week 2. Also, Avery Johnson, the amount of hype that he got coming into this year, he's been good. Don't get me wrong. He's been a very good quarterback.
This is his first, big time game, though.
Yeah, he hasn't blown me away, so I'm very interested to see how he does.
Obviously, they played at Tulane last week, which is a real opponent, but, it's not a power four team still. So, yeah. I don't know if this is true, but if it is, that is insane. Apparently, DeMar Hamlin hit Tua.
Yeah, he's the one that did it.
It really was DeMar Hamlin. Okay,
Yeah,
that makes that even wilder.
Yeah, need him in the head.
That's crazy. All right, yeah. Hopefully, Tua's all right. We'll go back to football though. Former Pac-12 rivals meeting. So with this one, we got Oregon State and Oregon meeting. That one's going to be at Oregon State. So that makes that a little bit more interesting. Than Washington State's going to go to Washington. Let's talk Oregon State, Oregon first. Oregon's favored by 16.5 points, but I mean, we've both been very upfront about the fact that Oregon has not been, super impressive this year. I do think they'll eventually get things on track, but I think 16.5 is a lot of points for Oregon State at home. A team that's 2-0, got a little bit of chip on their shoulder. Their rivals and everybody else left the conference. I think it might be a better game than people think.
See, you spoke logic there. I'm going to speak. They have not come close to covering a spread this year. I don't think it changes this week, unless obviously something drastic happens. So yeah, I like Oregon State plus 16.5.
Yeah. I don't think that they win, but I think this game could be very interesting. Probably, because I don't know, this might be the best game, like the 2:30 slate.
Yeah,
probably.
Yes. And then the other thing with this game is obviously Oregon State's no slouch. We know that. This is kind of like it for me. Like Oregon has to look like the team they were supposed to be coming into this year, and if they play another very close game where they don't impress, then I would officially, I would say they're in panic mode.
I think that's a very fair take. Yeah, because they have struggled so far. And yes, Oregon State isn't, any slouch, but they're definitely not a program that should give.
Lost their head coach, lost their quarterback, but losing their quarterback turned out actually very good. Yeah, they're 2-0.
Maybe they're the best team in the country, and they just had DJ Ulap quarterback last year. No one knew because
that's what he was good. Zone. Let's talk about
it. No.
How many games did they win last year? I think they won 10, right?
I don't know.
Because if they won 10 games last year with DJU,
I don't know. I'm not trying to look it up here quick.
They might have.
No, they were 8-5. They lost on a 3-game losing streak. That's how they ended the season.
I do remember so they were 8-4. Bowl games don't count.
Yeah, so they were 8-2, I guess, at one point in the season. So, but yeah,
it's impressive though, nonetheless.
Yeah. Other game between the two former rivals from the same state, Washington State. I mean, they're still rivals, but just not the same anymore. Not being in the same conference. Washington State, Washington. Again, this one should be good. I think Washington State. I guess I don't really know for sure. I guess I'm not gonna act like I know too much. But is Oregon State better than Washington State this year?
I believe they're supposed to be.
I feel like that maybe is true. This is also at home for Washington. They're favored by 4.5. Washington, I will say, looked a little better so far this season than I thought they would. So kind of interested to see how this game, plays out for them. Again, rival games are always tougher, but it is at home for Washington. They haven't played anybody, too crazy yet. But they've won handedly in the games.
They have, but obviously I think it's going to be a true testament once they enter Big Ten play, which obviously will be coming up next week. I don't know. I kind of like Washington State in this game. I don't know why. Couldn't really tell you. But obviously Mateer's been really good this year. So I don't know. I've also been really disrespectful to Washington all off season.
We all have. But
which is fair hate though.
It is. I mean, they lost a coach who went to Alabama who clearly is thought of as an elite head coach, and they lost so much talent to the draft.
And then the talent that remained is gonna follow their coach to Alabama.
Exactly. So I mean, this would be big though, I think, to still get it done, because if they win this game, very good chance they go into conference play obviously go into conference play undefeated, but there's a good chance that they go into their game at Rutgers 4-0 because they play Northwestern at home. It's their first conference game. I think that's a blessing in terms of playing arguably the worst team in the Big Ten in their first conference game. Rutgers on the road will be tough. And then you have Michigan at home, at Iowa. Maybe you get a chance to win at Indiana. And you have USC, Penn State, UCLA at home, then at Oregon. So, I mean, they're not going to have a whole lot of opportunities to win games, I feel like, down the stretch. Best case scenario, they win, 6 games?
Maybe I'd say best case 8.
What does that entail? Beating Rutgers? Who else?
Beating Michigan if there truly is.
I don't
as
think
they
Michigan's
look.
really that bad.
I don't either. But right now, I also like for my own well-being, am gonna like just tell myself that they're not very good and expect like a 7-5 year.
All right, fair enough.
Also, I think it's gonna be tough.
I think the most likely outcome for Washington is probably 5-7. Or
I also think it's gonna be if Michigan loses to USC and then travels to Washington.
You think they'll just like mail it in at that point?
They lose at home to USC by like a decent amount. I think it's probably mailed in. All their studs are just gonna be like, all right, well, let's get ready for the draft.
Yeah,
obviously they'll still play, but
yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, we'll move past that. Let's go to the next kind of big marquee matchup. Not as fun as it maybe could be in terms of Wisconsin. We're still not really sure. I think the jury's kind of out on them on what they really are. They looked, terrible in week 1. But last week, I think they looked okay. They got a lot better game out of Tyler Van Dyke, I believe, last week. I mean, it was a FCS team in South Dakota. But, Wisconsin, a team that coming into the season, everybody thought was going to be a good team that just had a brutal schedule. Like, they have Alabama at home. They have to go to USC, Penn State at home, Oregon at home. They go to Nebraska. So still a team that a lot of people thought would maybe win like 7 games, but would probably be better than like what a 7-5 team actually is, just based on how hard their schedule is. Now I'm not so sure. But Camp Randall, tough place to play. Not easy by any means, but I mean, Alabama's favored by 16. Do you think they come in and I don't know, what do you think happens? Do you think they can cover?
I think it's a bloodbath.
Bloodbath?
Yeah.
I think this is. Would you
I think this
consider
is
this
one
like
of those
like
where just
kind of like an
Wisconsin's
almost
not. This is like.
Would you consider this like a statement, like win a little bit for Alabama? Like it's on the road at Wisconsin, a tough place to play. They have Georgia at home next week. So like, do you think they like really go and just stomp them and like get themselves like kind of riled up for that one?
I don't.
At the same time,
I don't hate Wisconsin. I just think that this is a mismatch. I do not like the way Wisconsin's played all year.
Because this also like is your typical trap game too. It's like I don't think that Alabama loses this game, but it could be one of those situations where I don't think I think Kalen DeBoer in that program is strong enough where it's like trap games usually seem to not really affect them as much. But you have Georgia on the schedule looming the next week. Like that's got to be in the back of your mind a little bit.
Yes, obviously, but I just think it's a difference in talent.
Yeah.
Which is like the biggest factor.
Also, I guess I didn't realize they do have a bye week between there, so that definitely helps too. I think.
Oh, then yeah, it's full force.
Yeah,
that bye week.
Didn't realize that, so that's definitely worth noting. But I don't know. I kind of hope Wisconsin keeps it competitive. It's always fun when games are close. My brothers are also going to be at that game, so shout out.
Tickets as low as $90.
Shout out to the Launch Boys, but my brother has season tickets, so that doesn't affect him. But
if I was a Wisconsin fan, I'd be scared to go to that game.
Yeah, no, it'd probably be bad, but hey, at least you get to like watch a really good.
I mean, you can see Alabama face your team.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like how I felt a little bit like last 2 years ago, like we went to Michigan. It's like, yeah, Michigan's shit stomped Nebraska, but I was like, it's kind of fun to watch. Like, Michigan's a really good team. Like all their fans are into it, but not that Nebraska's fans aren't into it. But
yeah, 100%. No, and that game kind of sucked though. It was cold and it was like rain, snow mix. But thank God we not go to Texas last week.
Yeah,
we were definitely talking about possibly making a 12-hour drive to that game. That would have been a brutal drive back.
Oh, yeah, that would suck so bad. I mean, I wouldn't have really cared, but that would have felt bad for the Weez, man. If you had to endure that and then just drive home, it would have been brutal. But hopefully this game's fun. We'll see what happens. Again, just kind of a week. This is how you can tell just how bad the slate is this week, is that like Alabama at Wisconsin is like one of our marquee games.
Probably the second most.
Like I'd probably say third, maybe. I don't know. It might be second.
Alabama, Wisconsin screams more.
Like it's fun. It's big brands. And again, exciting, just fan base, stadium, stuff like that. So should be fun. I wanted to go out to the game because, my brother had still more tickets. So would have loved to go, had to work though. So I couldn't go, but that would have been a lot of fun because Madison is a hell of a time. So yeah. Okay. Before we continue forward, we're going to talk about our group of 5 contenders that have some big games this week. We'll talk about those, break those games down a little bit, and then we'll get into some of the other big time matchups in college football before we move forward with the rest of the episode. But first, let's take a quick break, get to a commercial here, and then we'll come back and finish up with that stuff. But for now, we'll be right back. You'll listen to Rock Hard Ball, part of the Dogs Media Network at College Football Dogs, and see you in a minute.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12 plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
Alrighty, welcome back to Rock Our Ball. Again, part of the Dogs Media Network at College Football Dogs. Always want to give a shout out to the website and the company as well. Really appreciate them bringing us on. It's fun place to be a part of. And again, check out the website. Tons of great articles. Previews will be coming out, I believe, starting tomorrow for all of the major games this weekend. Basically, all of the Power 4 conference teams. So keep an eye out for those. And yeah, we'll get into our group of 5 teams now that have big games on the docket this weekend. First up, we can talk about Arizona State and Texas State. That game's actually on right now, I think. I don't remember where it's. Let me see if
28-28.
Okay, yeah. So
start of the 4th.
Texas State playing them well. Arizona State obviously not, a marquee team. I wouldn't say quite yet in the Big 12, but I think they've been better than people expected them to be this year. They're 2-0, look to be a fun team. So, I mean, Texas State is definitely a team in the group of 5 that's looking and vying for that playoff spot. So if they get a win at home tonight against a Power 4 opponent who started the year 2-0, and depending on what Arizona State ends up being, could look a lot better on, looks good, really good on the resume for having a chance to cultural playoff. I think they're like 3rd or 4th in the odds right now to get the spot. So
no, it's a huge game. Comes out of the wire. Sorry, there's another game on right now, and the score will shock you. I don't know if you're looking at this. Northwestern State Demons are playing South Alabama Jaguars. Do we know what conferences those are?
South Alabama might be FCS.
It's FCS.
Okay. Yeah.
They have the ball right now. I don't think they should score again, but it is 87-10.
Are you kidding me? South Alabama?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find a box score right now.
That is ridiculous.
This is even wilder. They have ran the ball 31 times this game for 362 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Sound like
they're averaging 12 yards a carry as a team.
Sounds like my Oklahoma State dynasty with Ollie Gordon just tearing up defenses. Yeah, that's wild. Thank you for making me aware. That's a crazy score. But yeah, we'll see what Texas State can do against Arizona State.
Safety.
See if they can South Alabama them. We'll have to wait and see. Okay, let's move to another group of 5 matchup. That'll be important. One that's coming off a loss, but looking to bounce back. It's going to be tough. Tulane, though, is going to go on the road to Oklahoma. That game's going to be 2:30 on ESPN. That actually might be, in contention for, best game of that 2:30 slate too. There's the 2:30 slate actually might have the best games, I think, this week. Because I'm looking now, and Texas State,
Oregon State, Oklahoma, Tulane,
A&M to Florida also play.
A&M, Florida, Notre Dame, Purdue, which
yeah, who knows? Who knows what that game's going to be like now?
Yeah, no, it's by far the best slate because there's only about one game on at 11 and 6:30.
Kobe, if you want to do a call-in legitimately, sure, I'm game for that. Just let me know.
Like this episode?
Yeah, he said live from Wisconsin. So Kobe, if you actually want to do that, let me know. I can send you a link and you can come in here. And you guys can talk some ball with us for a while if you want to. But anyways, back to where we were. Tulane, big game. Oklahoma's favored by 13. And obviously they
sorry, I thought you said Tulane was favored.
No. Oklahoma's,
I misheard you. I was like,
Oklahoma's favored by 13. Obviously going to be a tougher environment for Tulane than last week. They were at home versus Kansas State, but they played a hell of a game against Kansas State. They just kind of let it slip away at the end. Really probably should have won that game. And Kansas State, number 14 team in the country. So they've shown that they can play with the big dogs. Now it's just a question of whether or not, will they be able to go on the road and really compete with a team like Oklahoma?
I think they have a great chance. Oklahoma looked really, really, mediocre last week. Played Houston.
I feel
way
like
too close.
the entire middle of like the AP like top 25, like we have like USC like 11, Kansas State, who was shaky against Tulane at 14, Oklahoma at 15, LSU at 16. That whole like just kind of group of teams. I mean, Michigan at 17, Notre Dame is still in there right at 18
or 19.
Yeah. So that whole group of teams is really confusing right now. I don't know really what any of those teams are going to end up being, because they either have, we're supposed to be like elite and lost, Michigan and Notre Dame, or they're teams that like everybody kind of expected to be there, but still haven't really proved if they really deserve to be there.
Yeah, I think that obviously there's a few pretenders in there. And if Oklahoma loses, like obviously I don't want to say, like, I think Tulane's a really good team.
Mhm.
So if they lose, I wouldn't be totally shocked. But I don't think Oklahoma's 15th best team in the country good. I don't think LSU's good. And I would lean towards Notre Dame bouncing back and Michigan bouncing back, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
But you're right, though. It could be flip-flop. Like, we don't know what to make out of those four teams in the deadlocked in the middle.
Exactly. And then next group of 5 team that's looking to maybe improve the resume a little bit. Not the chance that they thought they were going to have to make things look good on the resume, but Memphis is going to Florida State. Florida State is still favored by 6.5 in this game. Florida State really, really awful start to the year, right? Everything's gone just terrible for them. However, that roster is still, there's still some good pieces there from last year. Maybe DJU can remember how to play quarterback. We'll see. Maybe
don't pull them out there.
I think Florida State is bad, and I think they're already in a place mentally, kind of like how you said, if Michigan loses at home to USC, they might just kind of mail it in. Florida State's probably already in mail it in headspace. But at the same time, I really wouldn't be completely shocked if they still somehow got things turned around a little bit and went on to win maybe 8 games this year. That does feel like a really big stretch now at this point.
Yeah, because they're way too talented to
But you feel like they should still win a lot of these games. I mean, the toughest games left on the schedule. They have Clemson at home, which you never know. Maybe they're competitive in that game if they play well. They go to Miami. I think they lose that game, and then to Notre Dame, which again Notre Dame now looks like a team that's just not going to be very good. So, you have 3 potential losses there, which I guess would put you at 5 losses. But if they get past Memphis and they look better this weekend, I still wouldn't be shocked if they find a way to win a good chunk of their games this season.
It's it's going to fully determine. This is the week. If they start 0-3, I wouldn't be surprised if there's transfers mid-season. I don't know if that's legal or allowed, but if it is, it's going to happen. This is a truly, truly must win. And the team you don't want it to have to face when it's a must win is Memphis.
Yeah.
Who I'm looking at, I finally pulled it up. They have the 3rd best odds of the group of 5 to make it to the playoff, right behind Liberty and Boise State, which it's very close. It's not I don't know if they win.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Memphis a lot in that game. I think it's going to be a good game. We'll see. Yeah. And then Norvell too, that's a weird situation where it's was he just completely carried by talent last year? Jordan Travis and, whatever other pieces left that team, Keon Coleman, did those guys really just, prop him up a little bit? Cause the year before last, weren't they not very good? Didn't they win 6 games?
They weren't great. They were.
But then the year before that though, too, they were good. So it's been just weird up and down for them.
Which is Florida State. It's always has been up, down, up, down.
Because this is nothing like the Florida situation, which we'll talk about Florida. They might be okay now. We'll see. But this is not like Napier in Florida. Norvell obviously has proven success, but it's just weird. If they start 0-3 and then if they really just mail it in the rest of the season and they do still lose all those big games, and if they miss a bowl game, it's they have to at least have a conversation, right?
I think if they win less than 5 games, it's real hot seat.
Oh yeah, less than 5.
The amount of talent you brought, you have the expectations. You were still expected to be a top 2 to 3 team in the ACC. Not go back. sorry, Florida State fans. Get into the college football playoffs. That was a dickhead comment, but you can't win 4 games with those expectations.
No, it would be a disaster. I mean, it already is a disaster of a season.
Yes.
Let's not sugarcoat it. Things are scary down in where are they? Tallahassee. Yeah. But we'll see what happens. Memphis, though, if Florida State, if Memphis beats them close and then Florida State still goes on to win whatever 8 games this season, that'll still help Memphis, I think. If Florida State can get back on track and maybe beat one of those teams that also maybe get their season back on track. It's just all these different scenarios that can play out. Okay, let's go to notable matchups just across the country. We'll hit on a few of them as we get on the list. First up, let's talk LSU, South Carolina. I'm a big fan of like watching this game because I'm very interested to see what happens. It's at South Carolina, who started the year 2-0. Again, none of these teams have played huge opponents yet, but South Carolina did go into Kentucky and stomp them. And Kentucky was a team that was supposed to be competitive this year. I saw Kirk Herbstreit tweeted actually earlier today. Some fan asked him like, why isn't game day going to come for Georgia at Kentucky? And he said game day was a lock to go to Kentucky if they would not have gotten just stomped by South Carolina. So if Kentucky would have won that game, then maybe there's a chance Kentucky is either they probably would have ranked them just for TV
and then
metrics, but
Georgia, like you believe Georgia beat a ranked team
exactly.
Actually.
But now that's completely flipped because South Carolina stomped them at their own place, and now they get 16 LSU, who again I know you and I are both not very high on LSU. They come in there with their 1-1 record, still ranked 16th in the country. South Carolina, I think, has a great chance to get a big win here and put themselves in a position where a more competitive year than people maybe thought they had coming.
I think South Carolina wins this game outright. I think it also proves LSU's not good, which also then proves which both of us were thinking USC is not very good. Especially with
I will say I think USC is good,
Kentucky,
but USC is not great.
USC is not a top
level. They're not a national title contender.
No.
They'll stay in talks for the playoff for a lot of the year. I think
they're not a legitimate threat to win the Big Ten.
No.
So, no, I think South Carolina has just all the momentum right now, and I think 6.5 points is. I would get why LSU would be favored here. I think 6.5 is way too much, being it's at South Carolina.
Yeah, 100%. I understand why LSU is the favorite, but yes, touchdown feels like a lot to me. I don't think that they cover that. Okay, let's go to I think the only other matchup this week between two ranked teams, Boston College at Missouri. This is going to be, I think, bad. This is where game day actually chose to go. They're going to Missouri. Which, like, shout out to Missouri. Again, still such a weird team to us that we just don't really know what to think about. And Boston College is the same way. Like, they shouldn't be ranked. I mean, their best win comes against a Florida State team who now we all know is terrible. But they are, for now, ranked 24th in the country. But, I mean, you can just tell Vegas doesn't think that they're, anything too special either. Missouri is favored by 16 points. That's the same amount of points that Alabama is favored over Wisconsin. Like, I get there at home, but still, Missouri is open this season. Their combined, score for the season so far, 89-0. So I don't think that Boston College stands much of a chance.
No, they're a fun team too. Their quarterback Castellanos is awesome. I don't see any world where this is close. Like you said, when was the last time game days at Mizzou?
I have no idea. Probably a long time.
Like that stadium's going to be absolutely juiced up. And like you said, 16.5. While it seems big for a ranked matchup, probably not big enough.
Yeah. Let's see here. October 23rd, 2010. So, long time.
Who would have been the quarterback there?
No idea. Max Copeland.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. They beat
what year?
They beat number 1 Oklahoma at home, actually.
Wow. What year did Daniels leave then?
Probably later, right?
07? No.
Is he that old?
I would imagine. Because he was a Heisman finalist, and I think in 08,
he's
right?
30, he's 37. So
yeah,
what 15? He probably would have left like the year before that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just didn't know if he was still technically there.
Yeah.
Or not.
But yeah, big matchup. I guess maybe Boston College can prove that they're more competitive. I mean, if they play a close game here, because I do think that Missouri is good. I think they're going to be in the playoff most likely. But if Boston College plays them tight and loses, and then they go into conference play, their conference schedule is not hard. Their toughest conference opponent this season is going to be Louisville at home. So, I mean, they have a chance to maybe compete for the ACC title if they really are as good as people think. I just don't know.
I just don't think they are. We saw it this week with Georgia Tech. They lost to Syracuse. Obviously, like we've mentioned, Kyle McCord is a very good quarterback. Probably shouldn't be playing at Syracuse. But it's Mizzou. They're top 6 team in the country. Allegedly, I don't think they're probably the 6th best team.
Yeah, I don't really know if they're that high, but
like I'd love to know what like the spread on Alabama Mizzou is. I don't think they play this year, but like
they do. They play at Alabama.
Clyde, you try to find
Alabama 8.5.
Wow, that's a lot lower than I would have imagined. I would have thought at least double digits there.
Well, I mean, if they have Missouri ranked as 16th in the country, though, they must think something of them. Like they must. think they're
Yeah, I mean they've
a
they've
high-level
looked
team.
unbelievable. I won't like lie to you with that, but again,
It's tough when you play like absolutely nobody.
yes,
It's so hard to get a good read.
it's very tough. And obviously they brought a lot of people back, which a team they were really good at. Beat Ohio State in the bowl game. Didn't really count. Ohio State was rolled out like Devin Brown as their quarterback.
I will say, like, the one thing that this year is kind of confirmed that I haven't really thought about before, but now when you kind of think back to prior years, the one thing that I will say that the SEC always does better than the Big Ten is like shit stomp their opponents early in the year. Because the Big Ten, I feel like, has actually, like, I don't know what the actual stats are on it, but I feel like they are historically not quite as good as like putting together really dominating wins early in the season. I think a lot of that's because the Big Ten plays a lot of like smash mouth football. They run the ball a lot. They
I
play
think
good
it's-
defense, so the scores don't look as gaudy. But I don't know. I
think you just hit it.
the SEC though also
I think
does. I
it's like-
feel like play lower tier opponents. I don't know. It's
I
hard.
think
to
it's
say.
almost like a respect thing. Like when Michigan was very good these past 2 years and they were playing a very bad team, you wouldn't see a spread out option. Just it's like, no, we'll run. We'll give, every single back who's dressed, they'll like start. And then like you'll watch Ole Miss and it's like Jackson darts in like a 70-0 game and they're like going 5 out. Like, why?
No,
That's
I get
that's the
the
difference, I think.
I will also say too.
I also think the
SEC
difference in
teams.
skill players is so drastic.
That's what I was going to say. Like the SEC teams, when they actually do bring their second, third, fourth strings, these guys are all still like high 4,
Yeah.
5-star recruits that just aren't playing because the guys in front of them are so good. Whereas Big Ten teams just seem to be a lot more developmental. Whereas like the Big Ten recruiting classes are never good as the SEC, but
One
they still
team recruits
compete
well.
at the level with
Ohio
them.
State. Ohio State always recruits well. Penn State will have like a really good year, like every 5 years. Well, they'll snag like 2 of the top 10.
Mhm.
But that's pretty much it.
Exciting match though. Game day always makes for a fun atmosphere, so that should be good. Let's get into the other ones. Notre Dame at Purdue.
Bounce back spot.
Gotta go in there, I think, and just dominate, right?
Yeah.
Like
Purdue's
if
not
you
a-
don't, then it's scary because Purdue's not good.
No, they are not a good football team. They played with their money last week. Turns out they weren't just very good at football. You got to beat them by a lot. Beat them by a lot, and people will be like, okay, it was a fluke. Happens every 20 years or so.
Notre Dame is favored by 9.5 in this game. What do you think the spread was before the season started?
I'm sure we can look that up. What did it open at? I would bet you 20 plus. I bet you last week it was 20 plus.
Also, Purdue already had a bye week. They're only 1-0. It's kind of weird.
That's brutal. I get you get 2 in college football. But that's like having like the week 5 bye in the NFL. It's like, I don't want this now. We're
Yeah.
just getting going.
That kind of sucks. Their bye comes between Oregon on October 18th and Northwestern on November 2nd. So
Clyde, keep scrolling up because there should be one that it'll show you what it opened at. That one. First link.
Computer slow.
Oh, okay. Well,
bad Clyde computer.
Yeah, it's a shit box.
Okay.
I'll find it though. I'll find it.
All right, you just keep working. Okay. While he does that, Notre Dame's got to bounce back. Not really a whole lot else to say there, but worth noting that game is going on. Another team looking for a bounce back. Colorado. They're going to go to Colorado State, and I mean they're coming off that ass kicking from Nebraska. I mean things are getting hairy for Colorado in a hurry. I mean they're getting proved as frauds here pretty fast. They're favored by 7 still in this game, but it's going to be a night game on CBS. So another night underneath the lights on national television. Obviously, last year this game was nuts. The Colorado State game. So should be a fun game to watch. The over/under is just under 60, so probably should be a lot of points. But Colorado's really got to come out and prove that they can still play because I mean they're still talking the talk. I mean they're still all saying that they think that they're going to win like 8-9 games. Which just seems ludicrous to me because their schedule is not easy either. Like they have a lot of tough games still on the schedule. They have Kansas State, Arizona, Utah, Oklahoma State, at Kansas. Like they still have a lot of really hard games on the schedule.
Which I'm still like mixed about it because like obviously America knows that they did not get better from last year. Like there's no reason to believe that they're going to win even 6 games. But I also understand like from a player standpoint, you're never just going to like go to the media and be like, we're a bad football team. Right?
Yeah.
You're going to be like, oh, we can beat everybody. But they take it to like another level. Is there like any bet you like here?
No, I'm gonna stay away from that one. Well,
Well,
it's like, and you kind of like mentioned a little bit there. It's Colorado just purposely seeks out these opportunities to be made fun of, and I just don't understand like why they do that. It just makes no sense. Like, why are you like, yeah, come out and say like, yeah, we're going to keep working every week. Like, we still think that we can, win
things
win
to
some
improve
games this
on.
season, stuff like that. Don't come out and say that we're still going to win 8 or 9 games. Like, we're still like one of the, like a team that teams need to be scared of. Like, don't say that because you're not.
No.
It just bites you in the ass every single time.
No, yeah. You got 2 Lambos and a broken down garage.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It's very true. All right, let's go to another one here. Last one I have on my little list here. And then we'll hit on our favorite teams a little bit as well. Talk about what they got coming up this week. But a conference matchup here in week 3 between the Texas A&M Aggies and the Florida Gators. This game, I think, becomes a little bit more exciting now. I mean, Texas A&M obviously lost week 1 to Notre Dame, who Notre Dame now apparently not good. So that's, concerning in terms of like where they are. They, kicked the hell out of McNeese last week, but I mean, whatever, it's McNeese. So A&M's favored by actually 3 going into this game. By far, though, the most intriguing thing about this game when looking at it is DJ Lagway, because it was Samford, I understand, but he did come out and he balled out really for Florida. He put up some crazy stats in that one. He had 487 yards, 3 touchdowns.
that's a pick.
So really, really impressive game. Again, he's a true freshman. We talked a lot about Rilo this year, and how good he's looked early on. Again, Lagway, lower tier opponent, but looked really, really good. Napier's still saying that, if Graham Mertz is healthy, like they might roll him out again. But I believe the plan for this game is that Lagway is going to start.
You cannot roll out Graham Mertz.
And that's what I was going to get to. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Why would you ever do that?
Maybe it's like respect to Mertz being, the senior who's been around forever versus the true freshman. You're on the hot seat, dude. You need to win football games.
Exactly.
And one guy clearly gives you the better shot to win football games.
Because I mean, I said it before the season started. And yeah, Miami did beat the shit out of them. But I still think that this Florida roster isn't bad. Like, I still think they can win games. They just need good quarterback play, and I think they can be competitive in games. Like, again, we'll really find out based on how Lagway plays against A&M and how Florida plays against A&M. But if he plays as good as he, maybe not quite that good, but close to as good as he did against Samford in this one, and Florida wins this game, I think that if you look back at the Miami game, maybe if Lagway plays, maybe that's maybe just a 7-10 point game rather than whatever
the bloodbath it was
24. Yeah. So
no, I mean, I'm interested. I lean Florida because I do think Lagway just is a completely difference maker for this team being at home. I don't know though. It's do I think highly of either of these teams? No. Got big names, obviously talented rosters at some point, but I mean, I don't look at this game and say I need to watch this.
Yeah, 100% agree. Okay, let's get to another quick commercial break. When we come back, we will shift gears from college football towards the NFL.
Our teams.
Oh yeah, our teams. My bad. Put the notable matchups back up. They are notable. Okay, where do you want to start? You want to start Michigan, Nebraska?
We'll start earlier game, Michigan.
Yep. All right. So Michigan, Arkansas State coming in. They're favored by 23. Obviously, they're coming off of that throttling from Texas. That Weezy doesn't like me saying that.
Dick.
But I mean, it's not the same as Notre Dame, whereas Texas didn't lose to a Group of 5 team, and they don't go on the road to a Power 4 opponent, but still a bounce back spot. I mean, go out there and prove that your offense can dominate a lesser opponent, right?
Yeah,
that's got to be the thought right now, right?
23. I need to see like an SEC level, just absolute, pedal them at all for quarters. Show the fans, show the nation that hey, yeah, Texas got the best of us. We probably weren't prepared. We got guys who've never played. This is their second game ever playing in college football. Not the team you want, that they want to play in their second week. No, big bounce back. Jesus, I can't talk right now. Bounce back spot. I don't know what the plan is at quarterback because I'm hearing reports it's Davis Warren. I'm also hearing reports that Jack Tuttle's finally healthy, which he's 24, so he might provide a little bit more experience. He played forever at Indiana, which it's Indiana. But it's he's been there for a while. He's played a lot of ball.
Are they completely outlawed? What's the freshman's name?
Jaden Davis. I think
they completely ruled it out on him.
So there was a quote that was misleading when they asked Ron more about that, and he just straight up said no. But I guess that was more so about putting Davis in at the end of that Texas game, which makes sense. You don't want to throw in a kid who's probably not prepared to play against a team like that in a situation like that. But now I'm also hearing reports that it's weird because his family wants him to redshirt this year.
His family wants him to.
Yes.
Just looking out for like his future, basically.
Yes, but also doesn't make much sense if you're given the keys to that car at that young of an age. You probably want to hop on that.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Especially in a season where if they aren't that good, it's like there's no expectations. Go learn, be better. I don't know though, because obviously I think the redshirt line's like how many games?
It's
is it?
4 games, I think.
4 games.
You can suit up in 4 games, or enter 4 games.
My guess is they rock with Davis Warren and just try to tell the world that Texas game was, an off day.
Yeah, I mean, I'll root for them. I hope they can, look better here this week. Need to bounce back bad. Let's go to Nebraska. Night game against Northern Iowa. It's at home, 6:30 p.m. It's on Big Ten Network. It's not national television this week, but big spread in this one. ESPN's not even showing one now. But I think
35.5.
Nebraska's favored by 35.
32.5. It moves.
Okay, 32.5. It feels like a lot of points. We were talking about a little pre-show. Nebraska just kind of feels like, kind of what we talked about. All Big Ten teams don't really ever leave the guys in long enough to really run up the score. It feels like, and I think they'll want to run the ball and stuff like that. But again, you're coming off, a big win against Colorado. Colorado fans are trying to say that's our Super Bowl. Everybody was excited. We don't like Colorado. So if you truly were, hyping up that game like it was the biggest game of the season, I hope you weren't. But obviously you want to be
I would
every
say
game.
it's definitely a letdown spot, and not in the fact that Nebraska's going to lose this game. But if this game's closer than it should be, maybe a little nervous at halftime, why is this so close? I wouldn't be shocked because you're right though. It is a huge letdown spot.
Mhm.
Last week was the most watched Nebraska game in a while. Finally, you got great revenge on a team that beat you last year when they shouldn't have. Everybody in the nation thinks you guys looked great. You're finally ranked again. You got the young quarterback. So I could see where this could be a little bit of a, play down to your opponent's spot.
Yeah, you got Illinois next week too, coming into Memorial. That'll be a Friday night standalone game on Fox. Another night game.
That's
Kind of interesting. Nebraska has 3 night games in a row.
Yeah.
Also,
it's nice.
So I'm only saying this because Michigan perspective, RAD immediately told the conference, because I guess they had talks that Michigan will never ever play a game on Friday or Thursday. They're like, that's just not happening. We'll only play Saturday. Nebraska should not be playing games on Friday either.
Yeah, it's fair.
It's too big of a team, too big of a brand. Don't throw them out, throw them in on a Friday night. They do not belong there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys
Kind of get behind it. Yeah,
Clyde's kind of looking at me
it's
with that weird eye, but
I
I get it. It's just
I think it's
Friday night
disrespectful
football
to your
is
fan
fucking
base.
nice.
I think it's
It is
fun.
nice, though.
It's fun to watch Arizona and Kansas State play on a Friday night.
Yeah.
A team like Nebraska should not be playing on a Friday night.
that is
yeah. The one nice thing I guess I will say about having your team playing a Friday night is that Saturday you can just
Full slate.
full slate where you just don't have to worry about anything. But yeah, Friday is still a little weird. Different vibes, and it always does feel like it plays to the disadvantage of the team who should be the better team.
Yes.
Because it's just off.
What I'm trying to think of
People think the game is on a different day. That throws off the entire week of practice and stuff like that too.
Yes.
So
What was the game that they lost last year on a Friday night?
Minnesota, it was week 1. It was a game that they
That was
absolutely should
fucking
not have lost. It was just a rock fight up in Minneapolis.
And was
that
that
Minnesota won
Wisconsin
by
game also on a Friday
13 and
night?
10.
Was that Wisconsin game also on a Friday night? I feel like that was on a Friday night.
I don't think so.
When they
Also,
lost?
Nebraska definitely would never do never play on a Friday because them and Iowa play every Black Friday.
Yeah, that's different though.
Yeah, okay.
Like
But
they're-
I'm just saying.
love that.
That's their standalone day.
Love that.
Yeah.
That day's for them.
Um,
You let the real rivalries with meaning play on Saturday. I'm just
I will say the Iowa Nebraska
It's a little
rivalry is
fake.
stupid.
Yeah.
It's very forced by the Big Ten. You ask any Nebraska fan, I think I would say almost every single one of them hates Colorado more than Iowa. They'd probably say the same about Oklahoma
I
too.
would say Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Better,
Yeah. So Oklahoma, Colorado, I think are both hated more than Iowa. So yeah, kind of weird how they force it so much, but oh well. Okay. Well, we hit on those. We'll take another quick break. When we come back, we'll get into our NFL week 2 preview. We'll talk a little bit about what we got going on Thursday Night Football. Obviously, Tua had that bad injury, so we hope he's okay. We'll see if we have any more info on that here quick during the break. But for now, we'll get out of here for a minute or so, and then we'll be back with the NFL.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12 plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
Alrighty, welcome back to Rock Hard Ball. Again, part of the Dogs Media Network at College Football Dogs. Another reminder, go check out our socials as we enter hour 2 of the show here. At Rock Hard Ball, at Rock Hard Ball Pod on pretty much every single social and streaming platform. So check those out so you can stay up to date with us and what's going on with the show. Been posting a lot more, clips and stuff. So, go check that stuff out as well. And yeah, that's kind of that. Let's go, like I said, though, to the week 3, or I don't know why it says week 3, week 2. My bad. Week 2 NFL preview in the NFL. So we had Dolphins Bills playing right now. Bills are throttling them. It's 31-10. Again, the unfortunate thing was Tua going down. Was not having a good game before he went down either. He had 3 picks in this one. Skylar Thompson now in at quarterback for Miami. As for the Bills, they've just been kind of doing it on the ground a little bit with James Cook. He's got a couple touchdowns.
He's been great tonight.
Been really good. Yep. Ray Davis also had a couple nice carries early in the first half. I don't know if he's really done much since then. Devon A-Chain apparently has been going just absolutely nuclear. He has 96 yards on the ground, 7 catches for 69 yards. He's the leading receiver as well for a touchdown. So skill players, having a good game for Miami, but just not able to keep up right now. I mean, when you turn the ball over 3 times, it's tough to compete in games. So let's move, though, into the actual Sunday slate and, of course, Monday Night Football as well. Saints at Cowboys. We'll start with the noon slate here. Cowboys favored by 6. Saints obviously coming off that just pounding of the Panthers last year. Or not last year, last week, which was week 1, not week 2. Yeah, I know. I'm just falling apart here. Cowboys also dominated the Browns on the road. But those two just played, what looks to be like 2 of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. I think the Cowboys definitely the better team here. 6 almost might be too little, which that almost never feels like it's true in the NFL. But I think it might be
I think it's true.
Too small.
Obviously, the Saints are looking good because of last week. Don't get me wrong. Some people are high on them. I'm not. I still think that offense is good. I think if you're rolling out their car, it's not great. He played well. Doesn't really count. He played against an XFL team. Outside of that, I'm expecting a big game from CeeDee Lamb. Did not look great. Now it's me. You transferred over to me. Did not look awesome last week.
My bad, Gangy.
But also fair. Obviously, Cleveland secondary is unbelievable. I don't think much of this game. I think Cowboys win.
Yeah. Full-hearted agreement from my side. All right, let's go to the next game. One that should be more interesting. Buccaneers at Lions. Obviously, Lions favored our favored by 7.5. The Lions looked good last week, and I think they are a very good team. But the Bucs, I think, are still a really good team as well, and should be a playoff contender. 7.5 might be a little much. Again, it is in Detroit, so. But this should be a really fun game, I think. Over under a 51.5 should be a good amount of points scored. Neither defense is super special, but both offenses, got a lot of playmakers, good quarterbacks in each team. So I'm excited for this game. Let me know what you think about your lines this week. How's this one going to go?
Second straight week, I think we're going to get a better look at if the secondary really improved or not. Matthew Stafford slaying it all over the place, which I would say that Sunday night's game was more of a testament of how good Matthew Stafford is, especially when him and Cooper Kupp are on the same page. It's one of the best.
21 targets to Cooper Kupp last week.
Ridiculous. And obviously, Puka went down early, but then you transferred over to a Baker Mayfield who's revived his career. Mike Evans is always good. Chris Godwin, Bucky Irving looks to be a huge, factor for them. He looked great out of the backfield catching passes. So I need a better game from Terrion Arnold. I get week 1 going up against Cooper Kupp a lot of the time. It's, does not scream success for your first game. But no, I'd like to see Carlton Davis not play great. The whole secondary, I'd like to see a better game from.
Yeah. Agree with you. What do you think? What do you have for kind of a final score? Do you think that they will cover by more than a touchdown, or do you think that the Bucs play a little closer?
I think this one's 27-23. I could see. I think it's just
Will are taking the Lions though.
yes. I think it's going to be the same story every single week with the Lions. I think they're going to be favored in a whole lot of games this year. It's going to be whether teams can keep up with them offensively.
Yeah,
because they scored 27 points last week, and that offense did not look great.
Yeah. Okay. Quick update here. Got it fixed. Week 2 in the NFL.
Right.
Yeah. Quick work with the magic fingers there for me. Let's go to the next game. I'm actually going to skip over one here for a second because I'm trying to do one more thing here. But Jets Titans. Jets are going to be favored by 3.5 going on the road to Tennessee. Obviously, Jets. Tough draw in week 1. You're playing the Niners. Aaron Rodgers' first full game he played since I think it was like January of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So he hadn't played a full game of football in over a year and a half. Still actually didn't play a full game. He came out in this one, but the last 32-19, they looked to keep up with the Niners a little bit early, but in the end, they were just too much for them. Titans, obviously, really bad loss. They absolutely should have beaten Chicago last week, and they should have won by probably a couple scores. Yeah. Chicago's offense did not score. So what's kind of your outlook, I guess, for this one?
Tough draw for the Titans. He played another stellar defense in the Jets, and then I think it's a big bounce back spot for the Jets. I think 3.5 is too low. I think they really kick it up. Because obviously, like you said, San Fran played great. I think that defense is maybe a little salty how that one turned out. Given, I would argue the Jets are the best defense in the league. Is that maybe too?
I think they're right there for sure. I feel like NFL is always kind of tougher to decipher than college, because there's just so many good players on every roster where it's just like, is this team really that much better than others? Like, obviously, when you have historic defenses, sometimes it's easier to tell. But yeah, this Jets defense is really good.
But they are top 5 defense in this league, and you get a much easier opponent. Will Levis did not look good. Made some really boneheaded mistakes that cost his team in the end. So, and
he had the kneeling, hands behind the head.
Oh Lord, what did I do?
Yeah.
No, I like the Jets by a touchdown or more.
Yeah. I'll probably agree with you on that one. Okay, let's go back a step here. Kind of skipped over for a second while I was trying to finish something up there. But Colts at Packers. Colts are favored by 2.5. I think that's fair. Obviously Jordan Love's not playing. Malik Willis in the past has not looked very good. I'm not going to.
That's a nice way to put that.
I know. Yeah, he's looked very bad. Okay. I'm going to hold out hope that maybe Malik Willis can play just good enough. If he can just take care of the ball, I do think that the Josh Jacobs in the running game is good enough that they can shoulder some of the workload. Obviously, he's got playmakers all over the place on that offense that he can distribute the ball to. But yes, the Colts absolutely should be favored in this game. I think there's a pretty good chance the Packers lose, unfortunately. But the defense looked much improved there in week 1, I think, at times. Obviously, yeah, the Eagles put up some points, but at the same time, that was also, the Packers, they turned the ball over once or twice. And the Eagles are a very, very good team that are, going to be in the running to win their division and maybe even be one of the higher seeds in the playoffs. We'll see what kind of ends up happening with them. But I'm still not going to just completely write off the Packers for every game while Jordan Love's out. I'm still going to hold out hope that they can be competitive. This week's going to tell a lot. It's at home. So if Malik Willis can look, halfway like a capable quarterback, I will hold out hope that they can maybe pick up a game or two while Jordan Love's out. But this is a big game in terms of like, can we survive without him?
Yeah, I also think you paid a running back. Now's the time where
absolutely.
Malik Willis, you cannot go ask him to throw the ball 40 times. You can't ask him to throw it 30. You paid for your running back. Josh Jacobs should get, I'd like to see like 30 touches this week.
Yeah, I completely agree. He did that with the Raiders. He's,
very
showed that he's, capable of it. He only had 16 carries last week, but he had 84 yards. Really good game. Emmanuel Wilson also ran the ball well last week for the Packers. So yeah, I really like to see them lean on the running game and, hopefully keep this thing, competitive and maybe even pull out a win at home. We'll see. 49ers at Vikings. 49ers are only favored by 5. Again, this feels almost similar to like the Dallas and New Orleans games where it's like we're maybe overrating the other team a little bit too much for beating up on one of the worst teams in the NFL last week. Why do I keep saying last year? What the hell is wrong with me?
It's week 2, brother.
Yeah, I know. It's getting bad. But yeah, Sam Darnold looked good for the Vikings last week, but I still just don't have
with a grain of salt.
Ton of trust. Bad. Yeah, it's the defense is very bad, and the Giants might be the worst team in NFL history. So I think the 49ers control this pretty well.
This is like a Vegas knows obviously a lot more than we do. like the spread just screams it's going to be a letdown spot for the 49ers.
Yeah.
Come off a win where it dominated without CMC. You know, you beat a Jets team by a lot. That obviously the Jets, if they stay fully healthy all year, obviously they have Super Bowl dreams. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know why I kind of like the Vikings +5.
I don't know. I again, this applies to be one of those games where I stay away from. Yeah, we'll get to that, Colin. We got Seahawks, Patriots, absolute snooze fest that hopefully will not be shown on Red Zone at all. Actually, I will hope to see it on Red Zone. Let me see some Ramondre Stevenson touchdowns. But Seahawks favored by 3.5 going into New England. Obviously, New England with the stunner of last week taking down the Bengals. But Seahawks also picked up a win against the Broncos, but Bo Nix really struggled in his debut. The offense didn't really have to do much. Geno did throw a pick. But this game just doesn't excite me much.
No, not. I mean, what's there to excite? I like the Seahawks. I think they win by maybe a field goal. Not much else to it.
Yeah.
Patriots kind of getting hype. Ramondre Stevenson did look really good. I'll give him credit for that. But that team's not good. Let's skip it.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Giants and Commanders.
right.
Washington at
How
home.
bad this game's going to be. There is some
Yeah.
headlines though here.
Yeah, so Washington -1.5. That's the spread, which is a really weird spread. I don't feel like I've never seen that like in an NFL game. -1.5 just feels.
By the
odd.
way, if you're going to bet Washington, in what world are you taking the 1.5?
Yeah, just take money line.
Just take the money line.
Yeah,
And if
'cause
you lose by 1,
Yeah, because that's a disaster. That's a just nightmare fuel waiting to happen. Colin, do you want to talk about your guy here? Because he's actually, as you see on the depth chart, he's the third string. So
Yeah, fuck, I forgot that Drew Lock.
Yeah.
I love Illinois football. Tommy DeVito's the fucking guy. I think they bring him back to 1.
So heard it here first. Clyde thinks that Tommy DeVito is going to come in for the Giants and bring them out of the dumpster fire that is Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
We said it so much last
Can
episode.
you
He
bench
sucks so
him?
bad.
Yeah, you bench.
I think
Daniel
you bench
Jones.
him.
can you
Yeah.
bench your $40 million quarterback?
You have to.
Yes, because you can do.
I think he'll definitely start the game, obviously. But if like he comes out and throws like maybe like 2 picks in like the first half, you cannot let him. You can't run him back out.
Also, Clyde, they're not going to go to DeVito. They,
Yeah,
will, they
they
will
will
go to Drew
Lock.
Lock.
Drew
but-
Lock, but they could also, if Drew
Which,
Lock
by the
starts
way, though-
shitting the bed, they could do the double QB thing that the Bears did a couple years ago. Nick Foles and Mitch.
That's like the worst thing to, like, if you're a Giants fan too. So you have like 2 really good vibe quarterbacks on your roster behind, like Danny Dimes, Duke weirdo, creeps everybody out, bad quarterback, and you got a guy like Drew Lock. And
There was a rumor though that for going around that he was maybe dating Kay Adams for a while. So shout out, but apparently that's not true. So
Yeah.
All right. But
unfortunate.
I mean, Drew Lock's
He's
a lot of
fucking
fun.
cool.
Danny
And
DeVito. Tommy DeVito. I keep saying Danny DeVito.
He's not bad,
Yeah.
dude.
They should run Danny DeVito. I'd be a sight to see.
Yeah, DeVito's not
Tommy
bad.
DeVito.
It's not bad.
I never really got into the whole,
He
that
threw-
week of
Italian.
fame. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I loved it. He only threw 3 picks in 6 games.
Yeah.
That's
he's-
pretty fucking good for a Giant.
He's a bad
Not bad
quarterback.
for a Giant.
Bad for Giant. I don't know. I like the 2 QB room.
I like.
I feel bad for neighbors.
Yeah, no, that sucks. I actually have always been a Drew Lock defender. I would love to see Drew Lock go out there and just ball. I think that'd be like a lot of fun to see. He played pretty well with the Seahawks when Geno was down for a little bit.
Yep. Played well in the preseason.
He was. I mean, I'll always like remember that like 5-game stretch at the end of his rookie year, where like when he came in, played for a few games. I mean, he looked great. And I think it would be awesome to see him like have like kind of that career redemption arc.
Got a
The one that we've
lot
been,
of clips.
the
for
one that
not
kind of
playing well.
everybody's been kind of hoping for Zach Wilson. That looks like he's probably sailed. But Drew Lock would be awesome if like Daniel Jones just sucks. He comes in, balls out, and like the Giants, you know, even if Drew Lock balled out, like it wouldn't be enough to save this team. But I mean, could definitely make them at least more interesting and competitive. So
Yeah, 100%. And then obviously Commanders, Jane Daniels looked good. He didn't do much in the air, but he doesn't have to. That's the beauty of him. He's got his feet. Here, you let up a lot of points to Tampa Bay, which it's not as bad as
It's good
it seems.
offense.
Tampa Bay is a very good offense. We're gonna have to lock down for the Giants, right? You cannot let Danny Dimes
no, yeah,
you
you
know,
can't let him carve you up.
carve you up. I like the Commanders in this one pretty much.
Let's go with another betting line here. Since we're playing at the Commanders, over under 2.5 torn ACLs.
Oh God, I don't even want to think about.
Yeah,
that.
I know. No, that's kind of messed up stat, I guess,
RG3.
but
I think the only
it is.
person
It does happen.
the
so
only
often.
person I think that you could say publicly, because this might be a little messed up, but I think everybody deep down has maybe said some things about injuries of players that you'd like to see injured.
Well, yeah.
Be honest, yeah. But you keep them to yourself.
Yeah.
Or maybe just surrounding your close guys. There's one person in this league who you were publicly allowed to wish maybe like a Alex Smith injury to.
Deshaun.
And it's Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
The only guy in the league. I'm publicly allowed to say, yeah, I hope his knee bends, the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like a killer hit.
Well, I don't know
Like
about, I don't know if we could quite wish death.
Well, I can't wish death upon a guy, but like, say he goes, in a coma, wakes up 30 years from now, and he's old as shit, and still Deshaun Watson.
All right, I'm still not going to wish coma.
I'm not
but-
going to
yeah.
wish that. I mean,
I mean, the
okay.
NFL won't end his career for being a weirdo criminal, so maybe
mean,
his knee can end it for him.
yeah. Makes so much money.
No,
It's a
it's
big
karma,
name.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a big name.
Anyways, one more thing I will mention in this game, Jaden Daniels, he actually, I think, might have he was probably already the second favorite, I would guess, but I think there's definitely a better chance that he wins Rookie of the Year than Caleb Williams, just because guys that can move like that, and they're just, good on their feet and stuff like that, they just always seem to perform better like right away, just because they have that to rely on. I think Caleb Williams does bounce back, but there's definitely a chance that Jaden Daniels' feet could carry him to a Rookie of the Year win. So
Yeah,
just throwing that
I'm
out
trying to find odds. The odds are gone for it right now, I guess. I don't
Okay.
know why that is, but I would have figured the odds would slightly lean Daniels just with
They might know. Yeah.
how bad Caleb looked week 1.
I mean, Jaden Daniels had 5 less yards on the ground than Williams did with his arm last week.
The only
so.
thing they have available is MVP.
All right, weird. Okay, Chargers at Panthers. Chargers just, stomp them at home, I would think. Again, I like Bryce Young. I would love to see him succeed and look better here as we go forward with the season, but he did just look so bad. Hunter, what the hell are we talking about here? You and USC are just scared of him. Beat the Huskers. Okay. All right. Yeah, no, Dylan Rallo does not suck. Let's make that very clear. Take one thing away from this show. Dylan Rallo does not suck. He's very good. Appreciate you jumping in though, Hunter. Good to see you. Getting back to NFL, Chargers, Panthers. Again, I want Bryce Young to succeed. I think he's a good guy. So I don't want to see him just epically fail in the NFL. It's looking hairy.
It's looking
He
towards
had
that.
he had to make a step this year, and he just did not show that at all in week 1.
Is it like fully on him though? I mean, I guess
And
they
that
slightly
the
added.
whole organization is terrible. I will give him
It's
that.
looking awful. A lot of problems with it. The takeaway from this game though clearly is like, okay, nobody's expecting them to win. You cannot lose by 40.
No.
You can't do that.
Nope,
That
gotta
was
keep it in.
such an embarrassing loss last week. And then the other headline, J.K. Dobbins, please stay healthy.
Yeah, he was exciting week 1, but he's always exciting in week 1. And we'll see what happens. You hope he stays healthy, but it feels like that guy's cursed. But Chargers look fun with Harbaugh. I will say that. I hope that they
God, is he weird?
kind of what?
You see the video because like
Of him slapping Herbert.
slapping, yeah, 'cause, like he would do that with all of his quarterbacks.
Herbert looks so uncomfortable.
You would think like there'd be a thing where he'd be like, "Hey, by the way, like my thing with you is I'm gonna hit you, warm you up." Then he goes in for the hug. It was a funny moment. I feel like we're gonna get a lot more of them.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh is just a really odd guy, but he's fun to watch. So
Absolutely. All right. Browns at Jaguars. Jags favored by 3. I mean, Deshaun Watson looked awful in week 1. He's an awful human being. We'll see what the Browns can do. Jags apparently renamed their stadium Trevor Bank Stadium for the week, which was kind of weird, I thought, because it's called Everbank Stadium. So like their promotion for like their first home game of the season, they renamed it temporarily Trevor Bank Stadium. Kind of funny because everybody on Twitter was like,
Browns money
kind of wild that we're
Yeah,
naming that for a
Browns so
mid quarterback.
yeah, Browns
He
money
fucking
line.
sucks.
That's
Dude.
such a bad look. No, in terms of the game, have they said Deshaun Watson starting?
They haven't said he's not, so I'm assuming he still is. Yeah, I don't know.
And why is he not in jail?
Yeah, I don't know why he's not in jail. Still very confusing. Who is 2? Is it Dorian Thompson Robinson? That's 2. Oh no, famous Jameis. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Jameis. Yeah, give me Jameis. I want Jameis so bad.
It's literally the polar opposites. We've
I
talked
know.
about it before. Sexual predators should be in jail. And then nationally loved Jameis Winston, who the only thing he's ever done was steal a few crab legs.
Yeah. And I mean, who
Even,
hasn't done that? I mean, come on. Come on.
Why are
And then-
crab legs
and then-
$60 to begin with?
No, give me Jameis.
In terms of the actual, like,
I want to eat a W so bad with him.
in terms of the actual
Don't, man.
like game here, I like Jaguars. I like them by 3, especially if they're gonna roll out Deshaun Watson. And then my guess is if the Jaguars win, probably the last week we see of Deshaun Watson.
Definitely agree. Raiders, Ravens. Ravens looking to bounce back. I think this is the largest spread in the NFL this week. Ravens are favored by 9, understandably so. I mean, the Raiders, week 1, drop 1 to the Chargers in a pretty dominating effort from LA. I mean, Vegas just doesn't. They didn't have a whole lot to be hopeful for coming into the year. I still don't think that they do. And obviously, the Ravens looking for the bounce back. I think that. I mean, 9's always weird in the NFL because obviously we do have weeks where teams get dominated, but at the same time, that same team can always come out and somehow compete with a team that should be better than them. So 9's a weird spread. I don't like it as a betting line in terms of I would never bet it because it's just too much. I feel like in the NFL. But at the same time, there is definitely a very realistic chance that the Ravens cover this and more.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then I would say there's 2 headlines for one headline for each team mainly. The first one to me is Mark Andrews still hurt, or is Isaiah Likely just better in terms of age, in terms of the injuries over the years? And is Isaiah Likely the number 1 guy this year in terms of tight end for the Ravens?
I believe
it sure as hell looked like
the thought is still that Mark Andrews is kind of banged up, and apparently he had the higher the higher percentage of routes run than Isaiah Likely did last week and stuff like that. So I think that Mark Andrews is probably still has the edge as the number 1 guy. I just think it's a lot closer than people probably thought it was. Isaiah
Likely balled out.
They'll be pretty much a split. I'm going to guess going forward. They'll probably both be on the field a lot. And I just don't think they really have a true tight end 1.
Yeah. And then for the Raiders, Brock Bowers looked really good in terms of league-wide tight ends who did not have a great week to begin with.
Yep. Tight ends were bad.
They were really bad. I think Brock Bowers is tight end 6 in fantasy after 4 catches for 40 yards or something like that. And then the other thing is here, the Raiders, I think, are worse than we maybe expected them to.
Yeah. Yeah, because I still feel like they had some pieces, especially on defense. Max Crosby's still there.
Gardner Minshew is the starter is telling of they are trying to win more games because they weren't. You would throw in Aiden O'Connell for one last year, see if the young guy has anything to prove. And then the next thing is if they're really as bad as we see, how soon does Devontae Adams say, "Get me the hell out of here"?
Yeah, I think it's probably. I don't know. It's probable. I mean, he publicly admitted that he was disappointed that he left the Packers because he just didn't, trust that Jordan Love was going to be.
To be fair, he has the right mind.
Yeah, no,
you don't know.
I get it. Yeah,
your guy leaves. There's a chance it's a rebuild,
but you just also don't love.
Then you go to the Raiders.
Don't love to hear that too. As a quarterback being yeah, I wish I wouldn't have left because that guy's better than my guy. It's
yeah, he is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, deep down you probably know that, but still, it's just not the best feeling to hear your number 1 receiver say that. Rams at Cardinals. I think this is going to be one of the best games of the week. It's America's game of the week. Arizona favored by 1 at home. Stafford obviously very good. Kupp appears to be better than ever. But the Cardinals also were, I thought,
should have been
really
Buffalo.
Good last week against Buffalo. Yeah, Josh Allen just became Superman and just basically wheeled the Bills to a win. But the Cardinals were really impressive on most fronts. And I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. really wasn't that involved yet.
That's my question.
And
are we going to see more from him? Because
I think
it looked really.
I think we 100% do.
Okay.
I mean, again, I'm going to go back, kind of acting like a nerd tonight. I guess maybe I've been watching too much of the fantasy TikToks and videos and stuff. But same thing like Marvin Harrison Jr. I think they said he had the most routes run of the team last week. Just didn't really see the targets yet. The one thing that is maybe a little bit more concerning though is that Kyler Murray said he's it's not my job to get him the ball. That's a little bit,
yeah.
I get it. He is a rookie, whatever, maybe that kind of stuff. But still,
your job to give him the ball. You're the quarterback.
I get a reporter kind of has to ask the question, do you have anything to say about Marvin Harrison Jr. getting the ball, not getting the ball? But just come out and say, yeah, we want to get involved in the game plan, just didn't come to fruition. Don't say it's not my job to give him the ball. That just doesn't look good.
Yeah, it looks selfish. It looks almost like pettiness of what are you talking about? It's not it's not just him, there's other guys, which is true, but. And then obviously that drop was a little concerning to say the least, but outside of that, and then no Puka. So does that mean no Puka for the entire game? Does that mean we get 25 targets for Cooper?
I mean, it's probably gonna be a very high number again. Yeah. I mean, there's who else on that team is gonna catch the ball? I did pick up Hayden Hurst in fantasy. Or is he Chargers or Rams?
He's Rams,
I don't know.
right? Is Higbee not healthy?
He might be on the. I think he's the Chargers actually. Yeah, he's on the Chargers. I don't think because I was between two Rams, 2 LA players, I guess. Between who I want to pick up for my tight end this week because David Njoku was hurt, but I don't remember. There was somebody on the Cody Parkinson. Is that his name?
Yes, that is. I think he's on the Rams.
Yeah. Okay.
And then obviously other headline too. Kyron Williams looked good. Blake Corum did not enter the game once, which I think would be very shocking to most people. Rivers was getting the second, the backup handoffs.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like, I don't know if they said anything. They McVay probably did, I would imagine, mention why he never once entered the game. Maybe Rivers is better, pass blocker, which they needed help given their entire O line was hurt. So
yeah. Also, I looked up the Higbee thing. Forgot he tore his ACL like last year. So
I know he did in the playoff game. I didn't know.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's why I wanted to look it up because I wasn't really sure what you were referring to. But yeah, he is still out. So, all right, Steelers at Broncos. I mean, this game might just be really ugly.
Bo Nix, Justin Fields.
I hope Bo Nix can bounce back a little bit. The Steelers just aren't too exciting on offense, but that defense is always gonna be good. They're favored by 2.5. They probably do just figure out to win this game. It'll probably be like some weird ass like 18-6, or was that the score last year or last week?
18-10.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers
I
win
think
like 18-16 or something.
I think the over under at 36.5 is too much.
It might be. If Bo Nix plays as bad as he did last week, it's gonna be too much. Because this is like Iowa and Nebraska last game of last season. Like just two brutal offenses going at it. And we'll just see what defense wins out. I don't really feel like spending any more time here. I don't know about you.
Yeah, we're good. We got a big game next.
Yeah,
So.
Bengals at Chiefs. Biggest game. This will be the one that Nance and Romo are calling on CBS. Kansas City by 5.5. Bengals, suffering a brutal loss there in week 1. Can't lose the Patriots. It was at home too, wasn't it? Yeah. So that just can't happen. Now they go into what Bengals fans like to call Burrowhead. Obviously, the Bengals have been the one team that have had the Chiefs number a little bit the past few years. Chiefs did win the last matchup, though, I think, didn't they?
Yeah,
pretty sure.
But Burrow got hurt. No,
maybe I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure they did win the last one. Should be a fun game, though. I mean, these are still gonna be two. I know the Bengals lost, but that doesn't concern me that much. T. Higgins was hurt. Jamar Chase didn't practice all week. Yes, it's obviously concerning. Like that's just a game you shouldn't have lost for your, specifically Jamar Chase just being an idiot for most of the offseason, which definitely could have played a factor a little bit. But now, like, big chance to bounce back going into Arrowhead. Chiefs, though, obviously are just rolling, and once again, just look like the clear-cut best team in the NFL. So I think it's gonna be a good game. 5.5, I think, feels fair based on what we've seen.
Do we know when Marquise Brown's coming back?
Huh?
Do we know when Marquise Brown's coming back? Sorry. Oh my
God. I'm guessing probably not quite yet. I don't think I've seen anything about it.
Okay. Well, obviously, no big deal. Worthy looked really good. I am concerned about the Bengals. They're like really bad at the beginning of years. It seems like the entire time. With Burrow.
They have a weird trend going where they just don't win with Burrow at the beginning of the year.
At some point, it's like you can't start 0-2, then maybe 0-3. Obviously, I like the Chiefs to win this game, but again, you need to see more. And also, at some point, can we please just resolve the drama?
Yeah.
Like I saw Jamar Chase got offered like $35 million a year. He turned it down. At some point, it's like, hey, we're already playing like with the team that
we're playing football now,
and we're like hoping to win a Super Bowl. Like you doing this shit is just all it's doing is hurting us.
Yep. I mean, it's just your classic wide receiver. Like it's always wide receivers that do this shit. It's so annoying. I wish it would stop, but it's going to continue to happen. It'll never stop.
Do you ever think running backs look at receivers like, fuck you guys?
Oh, 100%.
It's like,
I know they do.
I'm like, I barely scrapped 8 million and I ran for 1,000, 1,200 yards last year.
Wasn't it like Saquon and like, I don't know, a couple other guys that were like talking on some podcasts, like either this past offseason or like an offseason before, I think, when they're like, yeah, like it's bullshit. Like we take the most hits like on the offense.
I think it was Saquon who's
and we still like just don't get paid.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is stupid. I agree.
Which it's stupid,
like
but also at the same time, running back, I would make the argument in terms of starting offense. Defense is the least valuable position. And I think we got a prime example of that Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like obviously a great running back is a huge asset, but at the same time, do you want to spend 30? It's
a luxury, not a
million. Yes.
So that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Bears and Texans Sunday Night Football should be fun. I hope to see. I don't know if I say I hope to see. I still don't like the Bears, so it's like, but I also don't want to exactly root against a guy. But it's like Caleb Williams, for the sake of Bears fans, hope he looks better this week. Because obviously the debut wasn't pretty. But I think that's, it's week 1. It's your first time ever seen an NFL field. Couple, like we talked about last week in the recap, that You know that one play where he ran backwards trying to get out of there. Like,
Yeah, it took a 20.
that's like a welcome to the NFL moment. You can't do that here. So he's gonna have to learn from that stuff week in and week out. I still think he's gonna put together a really good year. Might break Bears records as a rookie. But I think Houston definitely wins this game. So
Yeah, no, I agree. Which I'm not even gonna talk about it. We have a Bears fan here. I'm gonna donate my speaking time to Clyde. Clyde, Bears Texans. How do you feel?
Fuck. It's gonna be a really close one. I mean, I'm gonna be biased and say we're gonna win. We beat Houston in
so
the preseason.
We're gonna reduct it back to me so we can get some just logic here.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a close one. I'm not saying we're gonna destroy them.
Like we already talked about, miracle against the Titans. Completely different team.
Defense, baby.
Defense. Well, unfortunately, Will Levis and his praying to the Lord about forgiveness. Texans defenses and offense is obviously top 5 in the league.
Yeah.
Defense is also unbelievable. Caleb Williams hopefully throws for 100 yards.
Probably not.
Ideally, because you're not going to
Triple
get
digits.
spotted 24 points from
nope.
Yeah.
your special teams and defense.
No, their offense has to be worlds better to be competitive in this game. Otherwise, it could get ugly in a hurry.
Spread though.
Yes.
It's -6.5. I really like that.
For who?
Texans.
Okay.
I really like that though.
All right. Well, we got one more game and then
Yeah. Then bets, takes, and
Bets, so
rankings. All right.
Falcons at Eagles.
Falcons at Eagles. Yeah. Eagles looked good last week in the game that didn't count. They're favored by 6.5. Saquon, went ridiculous in the mud pit. He had 3 total touchdowns, went for over 100 on the ground. I don't remember how many receiving yards he had, but Hurts did throw a couple picks in that. A little concerning. He has had some turnover issues in his career.
I think that's just what you get with him.
Yeah. He'll make good, electrifying plays. He's like Hurts, I feel like is like still kind of he's somewhere like between rookie Josh Allen and like actual Josh Allen, where he has all the talent, can run the ball, stuff like that, big arm, but still just never quite figured out the turnover issues and like just some of the boneheaded errors. I feel like that's what you get with him.
Yeah.
So
I think you summed that up perfectly.
And then Falcons obviously looking for a bounce back here. Tough game to come back off of after last week, but how concerned are you about Kirk? Because I think that's the biggest takeaway from that Falcons game is he just looked so
He looked uncomfortable. He looked obviously unathletic.
he looked hurt.
He looked more unathletic than
What he did
Cousins
before.
a year ago,
Yeah.
which is tough to be. I'm concerned. Obviously, this week's not a good spot, but I do think, like, in all seriousness, like they're going to be fine. I think week 1 having to go up against Pittsburgh's defense is not fun. Fortunately, you have Philly, not fun again. I think they're going to be fine. I think they play this game a lot closer than the spread indicates, which is 7. I think they cover that.
I mean, I always obviously, yeah, these guys are professional athletes. They train all year round, stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing that like you could, as a fan, like try and relate back to is like, think of it as how you feel like when you like leave work and like you just go on like a week-long vacation where you completely check out, whatever, you're in a different country for a week straight. You come back to work. It kind of takes you a second to kind of get back in the flow of things, right?
Yeah.
It's like Kirk Cousins got hurt, didn't play for a long time. Obviously, yeah, I know he keeps training and stuff like that, but real game action, it's a lot different. So even if it really was fully healthy last game, I still understand having to shake off the rust a little bit and getting back into the flow of things.
Yeah, no, I'm not concerned about him.
Okay. Michael Penix Jr. is not going to play.
Yeah, we'll see week 4, man. All right.
That's not going to happen unless Kirk
I
gets
don't
hurt.
think you pay Kirk Cousins a lot of money.
He would have to be
Yeah,
so.
but why the fuck
he would
do you
have to be-
draft Michael?
He would have to be.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the question we
I
talked
still
about.
don't
We
get
don't know.
it. Still don't get it.
They're trying to replicate the Packers plan, man.
Yeah,
Get him ready.
ATL.
But Kirk is not 37.
and
How
at
old
the
is he
same
actually?
time, if you're gonna have a guy sit,
Yes,
for,
he is 36.
yeah,
but
he is. But if you're gonna have a guy sit for 4 years,
yeah, not the
why
guy
do
that's
you not
24.
take like
It's not Michael.
20-year-old JJ McCarthy?
Yeah,
I mean, Michael doesn't even have
yeah,
a
no,
leg.
that is the biggest issue for sure. But Eagles 6.5 feels pretty close to that. I feel like what it could be. So
So how old is Michael Penix? 23, 24.
He's probably 30.
So you drafted a 24-year-old guy who's going to sit for 4 years, who's torn his ACL 3 times.
Yep. And he's going to do it again in the NFL, and he's going to retire.
All right. Let's move on.
yeah.
Bet
Um,
time.
Okay, let's go to rock hard bets. That'll be next up on the agenda for us. If I can get it up here. Alrighty. So rock hard bets as we head into week. Sorry, it's so bad for me. Week 3 in the college football, week 2 in the NFL. As you can see, those are our records so far. I'm 6-5. Weezy 7-3. We actually forgot you were supposed to make an extra pick this week. I forgot about that because we were supposed to get the records even.
I can just get one right.
If you want
now
to,
for you.
pull one out quick,
All right, then.
that probably helps. But taking a look at mine, I'll hit my NFL one first, I guess, just really quick because that one just already busted so hard. I took Dolphins. Fuck off. Fuck off. Took Dolphins -2.5. Brutal pick by me. Worst pick I've had so far. I have 5 losses up there. Every single one of my losses has been close. Like, I mean, last week I think one of my bets was like Texans -3 or something like that. They won by 2. Stuff like that. So this was by far though my worst miss. Obviously, Tua played bad and then almost died. Again, hope he's all right, but did almost die on the field, and not a good look from the Dolphins. They lost 31-10. So obviously, already a swing and a miss for me. I'll hop back now to college football though, since that's what happens first. South Carolina, I got them at +7. We talked about it a little bit earlier. That matchup, I like it a lot for South Carolina. I don't think LSU is very good. Thought about taking the money line, but thought I'd play it on the safe side because I think 7's way too much.
Yeah.
But
before you keep going,
there.
I have it too, so
yeah,
I'll keep it. No, we already hit on it. South Carolina looked really good. I don't believe in LSU. So again, I think if we're doing a season-long competition, I think taking like a +230 money line is stupid. So I thought the same way. Let's just take the 7 and move on.
Yep. This is where I got a little more interesting. We probably should get like bonus points, I guess, for like taking like underdog money lines. I don't.
We'd have to
know
set
how we
like some
score that
rules on
though.
that.
Yeah.
If it's like more
We
than
can
like
maybe work on
plus
that.
200, you get 2 points maybe.
Yeah, could maybe work on something like that because again, we talked about it. Memphis and Florida State. I think that there's a very good chance Memphis win this game. I want to get a little bit aggressive, so I took an actual at money line. What was the spread on that one, anyways? Wasn't it close, anyways?
6.5.
Was it that much?
Dang. Might have been more than that. Let me check. I can pull it up.
Okay. But yeah, Memphis money line. I'm confident that they win the game. I think they absolutely cover whatever the spread is. But I think they can actually straight up win this game. So I like that in terms of like a value type play. Same thing with Florida. Texas A&M is favored by 3.5, I think, in that one. So same thing. Yeah, I could have played it safer.
That spread's 6.5.
Okay. Could have played it safer, taking money line. If they end up losing by a field goal, whatever, maybe I'll kick myself a little bit. But again, I think there's a very good chance they win this game with DJ Lagway. And Texas A&M, I just don't really think it's that great of a team. So yeah, that's my college picks. You want to hit your college picks first? Before
Yeah, I'll finish it up. I'm not gonna, take a shot here just because you do the graphics. So I thank you for all the hard work on that. I have Alabama -16.5.
Oh, well,
not 6. I wish I can get them at that 6 line.
My bad.
I have Alabama -16.5. Obviously, we already talked about it. I think Alabama is just way too talented. I get going into Camp Randall's tough. I also think with a bye week, then the following week before Georgia, I think it's wow them up.
Okay, I gotta turn it back around really quick. You just picture you sent me with your bets. You put Alabama -6.
Did I really?
Yeah. So
wow, and it comes back to me.
Yeah. Sorry,
I'm a scumbag.
I kind of triggered something in the back of my mind. I was like, wait, I feel like it said -6 on the thing you sent me, but
right,
yes, -16.5.
Faulty me, like Alabama there. And then we already talked about Missouri as well. Boston College is ranked. They should not be ranked. Game days in Mizzou for the first time in 14 years. Pardon me.
You're pardoned.
Thank you. Mizzou's going to win this one big.
Yeah. Agree there. NFL to Commanders -1.5. Kind of contradicting myself. What we talked about earlier. Probably should have just went straight up money line to be safe. Because then if they win by 1 point, I get screwed. But I mean, I really don't see a scenario where they don't win by more than 1.5. I think Jaden Daniels, this first game at home, right? Or were they at home last week? I feel like they're at home.
They were at home.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
Right?
I think he looked good last week. I don't know. I for some reason I thought they were on the road,
I
but
figure that out.
No idea. Anyways, either way, they're at home. I think he'll play well in front of the home crowd. Everybody's excited about him. He, didn't look stellar in week 1, but you never really expect a rookie to do that, especially at the quarterback position. But I think he did look good. Definitely was the best out of the rookie quarterbacks there in week 1. So I think that they, should take it to the Giants, who are just a god-awful team. And then finally, we got Chicago and Houston there at the end, over 45.5. I do think that the Chicago offense bounces back a little bit. The Texans offense is obviously very explosive. So 45.5 feels low to me for this game. Feels a lot like one that can maybe end in like a 31 to 21 win for like the Texans or something.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. Come back, Cowboys -6.5. Cowboys are a regular season team. They're going to steamroll them. I have no problem in that. Love that bet. Commanders, I took money line like the smart man, which for a second I was like, oh, like maybe I'm the scumbag. It's like it's kind of
My bad. I had something in my throat.
because I was like, it's
I'm
kind
sorry. I'm
of
sorry.
well, no, I was thinking like, oh, I took money line, but like I'm looking at NFL, he's got a lot of spreads, but then took 2 money lines. I guess you took the underdog on money line, so maybe you are big bull. No, Commanders money line. I'm going to play it smart. Gain more money value there, and then Texas -6.5. I don't trust the Bears, and I don't think that's crazy to say.
No, I get it. Yeah.
I don't either. It's okay.
What do you mean you're over here saying they're going to win?
No, I don't. I don't trust them, but I full-heartedly believe that they're going to win the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't trust them though, but they're going to
It's
win.
crazy. But all right, so and then I have to do another one.
Yeah.
I did.
You
So
pick
Clyde,
college
you're
or
gonna have to
NFL.
remember this NFL.
You're going NFL.
Yep. Which is, I think that's making up for it because I could probably pick a college game that's maybe a little stupid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add Chargers -5 to the docket.
Okay. Like it a lot. Alrighty. Yeah, it's actually gonna bite me in the ass because you basically just got an extra free pick, it feels like. But all right, let's go to another quick commercial break. It'll be our last one of the show. Then when we get back from that, we will do Rock Hard Takes, and we will finish up with Kelly's Kinky Rankings. Once again, you'll listen to Rock Hard Ball, part of the Dogs Media Network at Culture Ball Dogs. We will be right back.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12 plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
Okay, maybe actually
Yeah.
scratch it. He's back. Okay, we were gonna maybe switch it up, go Kiki Rankings first, but Weez hustled back from the pisser, so he's here. He's ready to go. Today, kind of a little bit different Rock Hard Takes, but we're gonna go best months. So best months of the year.
Did zero prep.
Yeah, I got no list. Going straight off vibes here. So, 101. Oh shoot, actually,
Probably keep track.
psych. Give me 1 second. I gotta play the video. I know everybody loves it.
Bone up, folks. It's time for Rock Hard Takes.
Last one's beer. You to Campbell. So, all right, in here for Rock Hard Takes. Again, best months. I believe I have first pick. Last Rock Hard Takes we did was best coaches to have a beer with, and Weezy had the easy 101 with Dan Campbell. But yeah, we'll do some Rock Hard Takes. And we'll give you a little bit of breakdown probably on each pick why we went where. So with the 101, I'm going to take the month that we are currently in. I'm going to go with September. Big fan of September because football. I think football is so fun. When it starts back up, you get all those college games, all the NFL games starting back up, and then on top of that, in most parts of the country, maybe not in some of the very most northern states, but in most parts of the country, it's still warm enough where it's like basically still summer. You still can go tailgating, still fun. It's plenty warm for that. If you really want to, in pretty much anywhere, probably below like I don't know, like probably like Nebraska and down. Like if you drew a line straight across the nation, Nebraska and down, like it's still like warm enough to like go have lake days, stuff like that. I know a lot of people kind of wrap those up around Labor Day, but yeah, I think September's top 2 month. I think there's a couple other ones that are in contention, but that's who gets the edge with me. So,
All right, so that was not my 1-1. I'm gonna go to next month, October, for the complete opposite reason. It's been hot for too damn long now. My favorite weather is like 65 and sunny, which it's football weather.
fair enough.
I don't like when it's football's on and it's 90 degrees. That's not true football. Give it to me when it's 65 degrees. Halloween's extremely overrated, but a bunch of people love it. So I'll throw Halloween in there. I personally am not a big fan of the holiday.
Halloween's fun, like from ages like whatever 5 to like 12, and then I feel like it is fun again, like for a couple years in college. It's
Like
still fun.
maybe your freshman, sophomore year.
Yeah.
Still fun.
Yeah, that's why I
Still
said.
fun.
That's why I said it's just like my opinion. Like,
That's true. Yeah.
like I don't like it. I'm throwing it in there because a bunch of people love it.
You're
Just,
also
fair.
just not a big fan of like Halloween type environments. Lots of people
yeah, no,
squished in together.
yeah,
Yeah.
got to wear a costume.
Candy though.
See, that's why it's fun when you're
Love
a kid.
candy. Love candy. Yeah.
You
Good
know,
when you're a kid.
if I go door to door asking for Snickers, probably gonna get the cops called on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try.
True.
Especially if I'm
You
rocking a
try.
stash. So October, one also September has like 9/11 in it, which
Always remember.
kind of brings your day down. Yep, always remember yesterday. I get another one. This was a toss up for me. I'm gonna go July.
That was my next
I
one.
think it's prime summer. 4th of July, second best holiday. Boats, lakes. July's awesome.
Okay. Next one I'm going to go with. I will say, like you taking July off the board. I feel like summer months are kind of gone now. Like I feel like because
I don't know because I almost
Well, I
like
guess
you taking June.
there is
first.
there is I guess
June
there,
is like the hype of like it's the start.
I do forget that we have 10 months, so that is like there's only 2 that get left off the board, so that makes it a
Yes.
little bit different. Next one though, I'm going to turn it around a little bit here. I'm going to go to slightly colder month, not super cold. I'm going to go March. March is good.
It's a great one.
It's weather just starts to warm up. I mean, obviously we're college students here. There's nothing better than that first day, like, and it's usually in March, right around like spring break, sometimes even like a little bit before spring break, where like for some reason it's like 75 degrees out and everybody goes outside, plays die, darties, get a keg, stuff like that. It's always just one of the best days of the year in the spring semester. Always a lot of fun. And then of course the big one, March Madness. It's electrifying. Gotta love those first couple weekends of it. I believe baseball kind of starts kicking off around like end of March too.
Yeah, it's the very end of March.
Very end of March that gets going. So a lot of good, positives I think in March as well.
Okay.
And then I have 2. Yeah. Okay. Shit. So one of these now where we get to points where it's like there's so much overlap between like other months that could really do it. That being said, though, I guess I'm going to go completely against what I kind of said when I first started these 2 picks. I will go just June, I guess.
Okay.
I'll go another true summer month. June, I will say, has been kind of tainted in my like memory just a little bit because for those who don't know, I grew up in like northern North Dakota. So in June, it's really still not that warm there. North Dakota is only like really like truly hot for like July and like August. So June's a little cold there. I will say though, being in Nebraska this past summer for the first time, and then even like really, I was in Michigan for a summer one time too. For some reason, it was like warmer there, even though it wasn't that much, further south. But it is warm enough where you can start, hitting lake days, stuff like that. So June is fun. Yeah, NBA Finals in June adds to it a little bit. So
Okay, I'm gonna turn it around. I'm gonna go December. Christmas rocks. No matter what age you are, Christmas is awesome. Playoff football. At our point, it's like, okay, we're off for a month. That's awesome too. I also like, I don't know what it is, but like, there's really nothing better than like being back home on like a Saturday. It's like snowing out. You got football on. It's like, ooh, a little whiskey Coke at noon probably wouldn't hurt nobody. Like, I love December. I love just hunkering down inside when it's cold. I will say snow's fun for the first snowfall. Then it just becomes a pain in the ass.
Yep.
That's fair.
But I think December overall is a great month. Also, like the whole Christmas to like New Year's Eve, you're not doing much work. You're not like, for adults, you're not like working that hard. It's kind of like a weird gap where it's like, what are we doing?
No, it is so weird for so many people because it's like you like most people get like New Year's Eve off, not New Year. Well, yes, but Christmas Eve off, Christmas. Some people even get the 26th, kind of depending on like where Christmas falls. And then you go back to work for like a couple days, and then you're just off again for like 2 more days. And it's kind of weird, but like also kind of fun because you don't really do anything those few days.
Yeah, it's ultimate. A lot of
Like, I know my
drinks,
dad
a lot
used
of
to take
food.
vacation like that whole week.
Okay, and then I have another one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one that I know should never be picked. I'm just gonna clean sweep all the football months. Give me November. Football's really starting to ramp up, especially in college. You have Michigan, Ohio State, like all the rivalries are great. And then Thanksgiving football is awesome. The actual holiday itself sucks. But people love it too. Like, are you a big Thanksgiving food guy?
I'm like
I can't
I like it.
I stand plain turkey.
I like it.
Yeah,
No,
like mac and cheese.
no, I
and
was gonna
stuff.
say I like Thanksgiving like food, like the Thanksgiving meal, but I will take ham over turkey like every day.
Oh, 100%.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then also it always gets controversial, but there is nothing better than like also my team loses every single year on Thanksgiving, so that's never fun. But November's great. And also I'm just gonna take the month of football.
Yeah, no, smart. Those were both next two options on my list on where I probably would have went. Really getting to the grinders now. I don't really know where to go, but I will just kind of follow along where you were at chronologically. Flipping the page, go to January. NFL playoffs are in full effect in January. You also have, depending on how you want to view it, like obviously you have the New Year's Eve, but then you also have the New Year's Day, like the big bowl games. And now that the college football playoff is
New
expanded,
Year's Eve is actually December.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like those kind of go hand in hand.
No, I get that. Then.
Okay, well, I get New Year's Day.
Yeah, of course you do.
Okay.
I'm not claiming New Year's Day. It's a December guy.
I was just saying that you and I together
Well,
are like we're kind of merging our months.
You brought it up. You did not claim my day. I don't claim your day.
Okay. All right, relax. Captain Dickhead over here.
Well, this guy's tying in December 31st like it's his pick.
You guys should
Maybe it was.
fight for
I know. I was clarifying that I know that there's like some big bowl games on December 31st, but like you
Not
also get
really,
the first ones.
Yeah, okay.
The first ones are usually more important. Anyways,
Also
with the expanded playoff now is what I'm kind of getting to. The college football playoff should also be deeper into January now too, right?
I think
When
so.
does that start?
No, the first round's in.
Would that
The
start
first round
February?
is end of December.
Yeah,
Right?
but like so, like this, I believe the
Quarters and the semis.
quarters
are
semis
in.
should both be in January now, right?
Yeah.
So
So you get the bulk.
So
of the
yeah, I get the bulk of the
playoff.
college football playoff with that. All of the NFL playoffs except for the Super Bowl, which whatever. I mean, lose on the Super Bowl, I guess that sucks, but okay. But yeah, I mean, there's not really a whole lot of other reasons, I guess, for going with January. But yeah, a lot of sports based stuff there. Very football. Last pick.
Come on.
No, I really have no idea where to go here, to be honest.
I know one.
I'll go April.
Yeah, let's fucking go, dude. That was my pick.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Got Clyde approval.
There we go.
April. Logic. Again, starting to get a little bit warmer. You don't have to deal with like the icy roads and stuff anymore if you're like in the Midwest or northern states. That should all be gone by then. And then on top of that, I mean, you get the Final Four is usually in April. That's late enough in the college basketball tournament. That's in April. NBA playoffs don't start in April, do they? Not quite.
Also, I couldn't be wrong, but isn't just the championship?
I think the full Final Four might be.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably
I
right
think
because it is that whole weekend.
Actually,
I
it's
always
only like
thought.
I think it's only the first 2 weekends that are actually in March.
Okay,
but
you're
It bleeds into April a little bit.
Yeah, definitely does. But yeah, no, NBA is in full force. Baseball is back in full force. A lot of good sports things going on. Again, in terms of just kind of other outside factors, I mean,
Easter.
Okay, fair.
Easter.
Sometimes that falls at the end of March, though. Once in a while, not very often, but I think once in a while it falls like the last weekend of March. I don't know, but I don't know. Yeah, that's probably about it, I guess, in terms of my reasoning. I mean, school, you kind of get to fuck off like the last week or two of like April, because kind of ramping up to finals, all your stuff's kind of finished up. So,
all right, so you left my pick on the board. I'm gonna go with May because we are getting ramped up. Playoff start for hockey, basketball. School's coming to a close. It's warmer. That's it. That's the reasoning. The two that went on
are tough.
August could have been picked. I just think it's just way too fucking hot outside.
I think it's wedged
Football's
between
not
2
back.
months that are just clearly better than it. So that makes it tough.
Yes, that, and then I mean February is just peak depression.
Yeah.
Like, Super Bowl, fun one day. Outside of that, it's still cold. When you get like a February 20th like snowfall, like in a lot of it, you've already been shoveling for like 3 months. Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah. Shout out me though. My birthday is in February, so that makes it better. But
yeah, as a July guy who's like right next to the birth of this great country, it's just a great month.
Life's good.
Yeah, no, it's good that you are overshadowed, for sure.
No, I come first.
Yeah, but no one cares because it's like, oh, yes, the 4th tomorrow. Let's go. Are you the second or third? I don't
This
remember.
guy doesn't know what.
I know you and Maze are second and third. I just don't know
I'm
what position.
second.
Okay, you're
Yes.
second. Okay, well,
All
right.
No, it kind of sucks, but also didn't because I was like my entire life I've been on vacation for my
No, yeah.
birthday, which is pretty sweet.
Nah,
pretty
just
sweet.
kidding. Yeah,
That's pretty sweet.
that makes
Just
sense.
going to lake for your birthday, man.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Pretty dope.
All right, let's get to the last segment of the show. Love it or hate it, it's time for Kelly's Kinky Rankings.
Go.
In a world of politics, war, bad beats, and watching your favorite sports teams come up short, sometimes you just need to hear a guy rank random shit. Enter your hero, Colin Kelly, here today for another edition of Kelly's Kinky Rankings.
All right. We are doing shitty programs in sports. I kind of fucking cheated a little bit because the first one I'm tossing in just because I hate Philadelphia so goddamn much. I'm tossing in the 76ers. Process, there's none. The answer,
No, they're hateable for sure.
fuck you. Yeah, I 76ers are just bad overall. Ben Simmons, they massacred you, my boy. You had potential. You were a great defender, and you were sold for a Scooby snack, and you're gone now. So, Joel Embiid, I kind of like him, but he's a really shit person.
Whoa. We gotta go
Why do you
right
think
into that.
Joel Embiid's a shit person?
Well, because he thinks he's like God, you know, he's a huge God ego, but he's just a good 30-point guy, but he can't really do well in playoffs. Or I mean, it's Tyrese Maxey's team. Yeah.
That.
Yeah. No,
It's
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it.
outrageous take.
Dude, this year, Tyrese Maxey is gonna make NBA first team. I'm fucking calling it.
I agree.
He
Joel
might.
Embiid might make
He might.
Yes.
first team NBA.
Yes. Yes.
It's not his team.
It will be this
No,
year.
it is not.
Okay. Trying to think some more.
You had
funny-
me until you lost me.
Who's more?
You already made the sale. Stop selling.
Who else sucks on the Sixers?
I mean, Tobias Harris was a disaster. I guess.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah.
Kelly Oubre fake getting hit by a car for some reason. I still don't know
Yeah.
the
I
whole
don't know.
story with that because obviously he didn't get hit by the car, but
Yeah.
why did he say he got hit by the
I don't
car?
know. Do they,
Weird. I don't know.
They still have Robert Covington, or has
No.
he been long gone?
No,
He's been long gone.
I'm pretty sure he hasn't played with them
Oh, God.
forever.
Where's he at the Clippers?
Yeah. Hey, who remembers when they had Jimmy Butler? That guy, I loved him on the Sixers. He had that ninja band. That was cool. But
Oh, he is on the Sixers.
Yeah.
He
He was
is?
with the Clippers.
Robert Covington, baby.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Dude, Robert Covington looks so fucking funny. He looks so funny. Oh, I love him.
Hashtag good job, Cletus.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, fuck the Sixers. All right, number 4, we're going Illinois State football. Fuck Illinois State. I hate that school so much. Their football program is a joke. How do you get 40 piece by Cade McDoodoo? All right, huh?
Okay.
How do you do that? I love shit talking the school so much. It's my passion. Their QB Tommy Rittenhouse. He lived in downtown Geneva. I knew him a little bit. Not the biggest fan of the guy.
We got to go into that a little bit. Why didn't you like the guy?
Let's just say he was a year older and he's like, I'm the shit. I'm gonna go to St. Francis. I'm the shit. Fuck Geneva. He went there for
Your school really sucked at football. Like really sucked.
dude. Apparently we're good now. My
Yeah,
little,
'cause you have a
brother.
Georgia receiver.
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
team.
Hey, my little brother's like, dude, you get 5-star. We're fucking good now. I'm
I
like,
feel like every
oh,
single
man.
Kelly's Kinky Rankings, we get like the Chicago suburbs lore.
oh, dude,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
This,
You're gonna learn a lot of it.
It
So
happens every
since-
time.
You guys
since
know that
this
Clyde's
list
little
is
brother.
like, no, yeah. Since this list is like just me, I'm sorry, but the rest are like quite literally just all Midwest.
That's fine, man.
But
What's your
I
list?
It's your list.
also
Rip.
I didn't make that meme. You go to Illinois State. The bottom text is really bad, so I had to cover that up.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Good idea.
I hate the campus. It's in the middle of nowhere. Weezy, you ever been to Illinois State?
No.
I went on a tour there. My lady that took me on the tour started crying, and that was a immediate factor that I was never going to this school. You
Yeah,
can
that's
apply at like a 2.0. I think you get in immediately, and they give you money off.
Well, yeah, it's a state school.
Yeah, but like it is the state school where like I would rather not go to college than go to Illinois State. I'd
You know,
rather,
you know, like, I mean, no hate to our own school, but like Nebraska lets pretty much everybody in too.
yeah, but
Not quite like Illinois State.
yeah, not like
I
Illinois
guess
State.
so.
Illinois State is like quite insane. really shitty FCS
It's a
school too.
Missouri Conference.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, like they're really fucking bad.
Hey, don't hate on the Missouri Valley Football Conference, guys.
No, but like they're last place. I looked at their playoff record too because I was going deep into this. They've made one bowl game in 120 years, and they got their ass kicked.
How were they in a bowl game? Did they use
Exactly,
CFS?
exactly. I have no goddamn clue, but they got their ass kicked. I don't remember who they played, but
Okay.
good for them. All right, number 3, we're gonna be going Virginia basketball and football. Yeah, I get it. They won like one time.
I feel like Virginia basketball is a pretty good program.
They won once.
Yeah, but still, they're not like historically bad.
Yeah,
are
but
they?
like I always pick them in my Final Four because I'm like, this is the year.
but you just said,
This is the
but
year
you just said they suck. So why do you keep picking them?
because it's the false logic of like,
Did
this
did
is
you
the
pick
year.
them the year that they won?
No, that was the year I didn't do it because I was fucking tired.
hate yourself more.
No, no, I'm just saying. I'm not the only person.
Their
that,
football
like,
program is terrible. Though.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
their
really
football
bad.
program sucks, even though they beat someone recently.
Yeah, they got a
but
quarterback like a freshman. Who was a freshman last year.
Yeah,
He's
wait.
got a lot of swagger.
Wait,
Okay.
I'm gonna look this up.
He's
Dude,
as the
because
kids back home would say.
I think they
aura.
beat someone good though recently. Virginia football,
I don't think it was anybody impressive.
Wake Forest.
Okay, never mind.
That's pretty fucking good.
That's a good win for Virginia.
Okay, I take that back. Football, back. Basketball, fuck you. Their basketball team, they got to prove something. Who was their star a couple years ago? Was it Kyle Guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Love Kyle Guy. What the fuck, dude? Like Virginia, so much false hope. I'm gonna put them.
Who's the other white guard that they had that was like good that year?
Oh my god, I'm trying to. Who's the power forward?
The guy with the shaved head.
Yeah, the blonde shaved head.
Yeah, he was the one who hit the
Yeah, he was a
the-
dog.
buzzer beater to send it to overtime against Purdue after Carson Edwards had like 45.
Yeah, it wasn't the.
Okay, well, so Kihei Clark was on that team.
Yeah, he transferred, though,
Um,
right? No. He just stayed there forever. He stayed
Ty
there.
Jerome, that's who I was thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then DeAndre Hunter was also on that team.
Yes, that's the NBA guy. No, wait.
yeah. I think that was
Yeah.
DeAndre Hunter. Yeah, the one. He was actually supposed to be a bull. They tried really hard last offseason to get him. Didn't get him though. So
Yep. Who
fuck you,
comes in at
Virginia.
number 2.
all right, number 2, we're gonna be going with DePaul. They're the worst. Great campus. I love McGee's. I might have to stop going there because I'm getting older now. So McGee's might be done for me, but DePaul, they should get banished from the Big East for basketball. Like it is the laughing. They made them like March Madness, a couple times back to back to back, and then last year was horrible, like beyond horrible. I don't think
Yeah, they've been really bad for a while.
They were really good in like the late 70s, right? Like early 80s. Something
I
like
think
that.
early 80s is when they were pretty good, but these past few years they've been one of the worst
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
Power 5.
No, I'm aware how bad.
like
they've been.
all time. Yeah, pretty good. I mean, last season they went 3-29.
Yeah.
in the Big East.
That
Like that's insane.
Michigan won like 6 games last year.
Yeah, they're pretty bad too.
Actually, apparently I'm talking out of my ass because they have not been good in the Big East since 2006.
That's why I said they've been bad for
Dogs.
ever.
Yeah, fuck. I thought they were good a couple of years ago. I feel like they hadn't made March Madness recently because I feel like I remember these guys in it. And I was like, oh, it's DePaul.
Probably watching like reruns on ESPN.
You know what? I
Hardwood
was
Classics.
I was little, and I was probably like, fuck, dude, I didn't know this. So yeah, I'm gonna put DePaul. They're the worst basketball team in the country. I don't know what conference they were before, but it's time to go back because all they have is basketball, and
They feel like they've been like a Big East lifer, aren't they? They've been there for a long
I
time.
don't even know.
They feel like quintessential Big East.
I will do the Google search.
They were in Big E. They were in the CUSA until 2004. Then they went to Big East.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
CUSA.
like they. Okay.
They were independent for fucking forever. Oh my god. Yeah, they're independent from 1920 to the holy shit to the 90s. So 70 years. Yeah, DePaul, you suck.
All right. Who's the shittiest sports program?
Iowa. Frauds. Basketball, Luka Garza, 2-time national championship player. Can you carry your team? No. You got Illinois coming in there and kicking your ass.
Did he win it twice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he did.
No, I thought Edie was like the only Big Ten player to win it.
I was gonna say. I think Edie was the first player to win back-to-back since like. the
I don't
80s?
think Garza won the second year when he probably should have.
Oh,
Garza never won.
Really?
No way.
The National Player of the
Never won-
Year?
No, yeah, he never won the Wooden Award.
No fucking way. Really?
Yeah.
I know he won Big Ten a couple times.
Oh wait, no, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I looked up the John Wooden Award winners, and they have like all the guys on like the right side, but then there's just a couple like flip flopped with the girls on the left side. Like I don't know why.
Oh,
Did he win one or two?
He won one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
He
think
won
he won the
21.
second year when he should have.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I mean,
don't
that,
get me wrong, I hate Iowa. There's something unique about the school that's almost unhateable. They have like the worst offense obtainable, and it's like almost impossible for them not to win 10 games.
It's just really funny. I think more than anything,
It's
it's
insane.
like comical.
It's a good achievement though,
yeah.
to be that like
No, they would be the most terrifying football team of all time if they had like an offense.
Yeah.
Ever.
Who was what was the chubby man last year? What was his name?
Oh,
Fuck.
Deacon Jones.
oh, what was the
Yeah.
how am I blanking?
I
on
know
this
some
guy's
crazy
name?
lore about that guy. St.
I'm-
Charles North lore with him.
Let's
you,
say
you
that
hear
for a
about that
different
story?
time. No,
you hear about that
let's
story? Oh, it's,
I have not.
Let's hit-
man, that's-
From Illinois.
no, it's a. This might be controversial. I don't
We're
know.
already
if I
like
can
10
say it. I don't
minutes
know if I can
past
say it
2
on air.
hours. Let's
Yeah, I don't know if I can say it on
Let's-
air. I'll tell you later. I'll tell you.
We'll see if we can pre-approve it. Maybe you can tell it. Another
Yeah,
time.
Iowa basketball, they need something to cook this year. Football, I don't think they will win 8 games. Gonna leave it at that. I don't know. They disappoint me every year.
They
Like,
probably win 8 games, but
I know, but they
Probably
they disappoint me every year. Like a couple of years ago, they were the number 2 team in the country.
that was just a bad move by the AP voters.
Still number 2 team in the country.
All right.
All right.
All right,
Anything
fuck
else?
Iowa.
Is
Yeah.
that it? All right.
Long episode.
A long episode. All right. A lot of good stuff though. That being said, though, we are going to finally get out of here. So if for anybody who's stuck around for the whole thing, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Again, check out the socials at the bottom at Rock Hard Ball, at Rock Hard Ball Pod on all platforms. I don't know, did you laugh at something else, or do you want to say something?
No, I was laughing at because obviously we've been on for 2 hours and 10 minutes. It feels like you've seen semi-pro.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's like they're on the air and then just light shut off. They're like, nobody's watching, fellas. It's late.
Yeah. So if you are still here, appreciate it. That's going to do it. We'll let you guys all get to bed or get to whatever you plan on doing with your night. So thanks for tuning in. We will see you on Monday.
Bone up.